Ready for the Board of Selectmen meeting for February 29th, 2024. It is 6 p.m. So everybody's aware, we are recording via Zoom. Also, our local access network is recording and televising, and it's being live streamed on Facebook also. If anybody's going to speak, please identify who you are and what your position is, if you work for a company or if you're a resident of the town. Okay, that's meets our social media requirements for and Zoom requirements. Can I have everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. So we have a couple fairly long presentations right at the beginning of our meeting. But we have one real quick introduction to do. So we're going to do the introduction of our newest police officer for the town first before we go through those long discussions, because then he can get back to work doing his job and we don't have to hold him up here all night listening to everything going on. Unless he wants to hang out. He's always welcome. But Chief, we'll take you up first. Come on up.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So last week I brought in front of you for appointment Patrick Gillespie. And today I wanted to bring him in front of you so you guys can meet him.
Very good.
Just off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, almost 20 years in the military, Army.
21.
21 years.
Retired.
Full-time academy was at Boylston. Boylston. He started out in Barry, and now he's over here with us.
Very good. Very good. So what can you tell us about yourself?
The highlights have already been mentioned, but I'm a father of two. I've got two teenage boys, probably
Very
married
good.
17 years on Monday.
Oh,
Congratulations.
Thank you. Those are my big accomplishments.
Well, those are the major ones,
Yeah.
you know, having the kids and, you know, being married as long as you have, that's very good to do these days.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
But-
I'm very excited to be here so far. The department's great. The town, easier to learn than some of the other towns, so, but it's been great.
Yeah, and we're putting a lot of time and money into our police department with Chief's leadership. He's been doing an outstanding job, and you're in good hands with him, you know. And Mr. Ferrara, he's always available if you have any questions too. And I think the police department's at a really good position right now, and we have a lot of great people. And you seem like you're going to be another great addition to our police department, and we thank you for coming and being a part of our town.
Appreciate you having me.
Do you have any questions?
No, I don't. Welcome.
Ms. Ferrara?
I just want to say Patrick did a phenomenal job during his interview. He did a great job, and with his experience, the town is very fortunate to have him. So thank you very much, Patrick, for coming to Warren.
Thanks, sir.
Yep.
So, our newest police officer, Patrick Gillespie, right?
Yes, sir.
So, congratulations, sir, and welcome to the town. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And come on up, let me shake your hand.
Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Now that I'm over my cold, too, so I'm good.
Yeah, you had to do a fist bump posture.
Wait a minute, we gotta get a picture for social media. Karen, would you mind taking a photo?
I would be more than happy to.
I don't have to do that.
Wait a minute, let me take this off. Like a little
As long as you
professional.
stop at that.
Okay. I got a little professional.
Okay, you're
We
facing
don't
me,
need
guys.
Johnny Line here. You're a big dude, yeah, hold on.
Okay.
Perfect. Thanks. You go ahead.
All right. It's awesome. I love having new police officers and welcoming the new police officers to town. And, you know, Chief's been doing a great job, and a lot of departments are having a hard time hiring people, and, you know, we were able to get 3 guys on like that, which was nice. So, good job. All right. Chief, did you want to say anything before we move on?
No, just thank you very much for appointing the people I put in front of you. Like you said, these last 3 have been amazing. They've come to us with experience, and they've right on the road. It's been great.
Yeah.
Not gonna
No more losing anybody now. Keep the ones we got. All right. So we're going to move back to the original item on the agenda, the kickoff presentation by Central Massachusetts Regional Planning Commission on updating the town's Americans with Disabilities Act self-evaluation and transition plan. So that's a very long one here, but welcome. How y'all doing?
Good, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you for coming. Again, very important subject. We've been working on some parking behind the building and trying to shuffle things around and trying to fix some issues that we knew we had. And you guys are gonna tell us what we're really doing wrong, how we can fix it. So, welcome.
Great.
Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, thanks again for having us. I'm Connor Robichaud from the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. I'm here because we were able to secure a grant with Mass Office of Disability for $32,890 to fund the plan. We're on a fairly tight timeline, but Jim and Mike here are pros at this. They've been doing it for many years, have done over 50 of these for towns all across the state. So I'll let them introduce themselves. We got Mike Kennedy here and Jim Masick from Central
Okay.
Living Working. Go
Hi,
ahead.
thanks, Connor. Good evening, everybody. Hello again, Chief. My name, again, it's Mike Kennedy. I work at Center for Living and Working, and just on behalf of Center for Living and Working, in partnership with Jim Masick, who will introduce himself next, through CMRPC, just want to thank you folks for entrusting us to administer your ADA self-evaluation transition plan. Now, for me personally, this is kind of like, I don't know about deja vu all over again, but way back in the early 2000s, my agency did your first ADA plan. And I was just, starting to learn the ropes of doing, building access surveys. And this is the first municipal building I ever took part in surveying, and basically cut my teeth here. So now here I am, 20 years later, maybe. Sitting before you folks, introducing ourselves and what we're about to engage in.
All right, very good. I hope we made some progress since then.
Yeah, well, I do have to, I do have to tell you, I've never seen anything like your incline stair lift. I remember, what I remember most way back when was when taking that up to the different floors, it actually felt like a little amusement park ride. When it went around the curves.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite an interesting sensation, but it does get me where I want to go.
Yep. All right, well,
Absolutely.
hopefully it's still in compliance. I know we get it inspected every year, so.
And you test it? Do you
Good.
still test it?
Well, it worked today, so.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, thank you.
Good. So I'm gonna apologize to Jim and to the chief, because you're gonna hear some of the same stuff you heard this afternoon, so I guess you can take a break if you want to. So I already talked a little to Rich Brand, so, Jim Masick, I'm a professional planner by trade, over 40+ years. Cities and towns throughout the Commonwealth, and then 32+ years for Pioneer Valley Planning Commission. Actually did work for the town of Warren way back, starting about 20 years ago on CDBG, and got Warren involved with CDBG projects to where, and then independently, Chris Dunphy worked for me at that time. Now he works for Central Mass Planning. Still working with you folks on doing that, so I know there's been a lot of stuff done. So I'm familiar with Warren quite a bit. Actually, born and raised in Ware, so I know Warren. Worked in Warren for a bit in my youth, so familiar with it. Mike and I, we partnered through CLW, I'm gonna say around 2006. I was doing some of these plans independently, a few a year, and then we, I think, partnered up around 2006 or so, 2005, somewhere in that area, and kind of done plans together, his agency and myself. As I think, as Connor indicated, now we probably 50 some odd plans throughout from Berkshires to Boston and South Shore. So, that being said, some background on the ADA, background on 521 CMR, talk a little bit about the format of the plan. I'm going to turn over to Mike to talk about the self-eval piece, and then I'll come back and talk a little bit about somehow we do the individual assessments of the buildings. So for those of you who are not familiar with the Americans with Disabilities Act, it was signed into law back in 1990 by President George H.W. Bush. It is a civil rights law. It's intended that there be equal access to programs and services to all, regardless of physical or mental impairment. That the current standards are the 2010 standards, which went into effect in 2012. The standards are about, literally notebook is about yay thick. There are 5 titles under the ADA. There's 2 titles that specifically would concern you as a municipality. Title 1 is employment, so the equal employment opportunity, and then Title 2 is access to programs and services for municipal and local jurisdictions, and that is the requirement under that Title II for an ADA self-evaluation and transition plan. The self-eval is policies, procedures, programs, which Mike's going to get into, and then the transition plan piece is actually looking at your physical, looking at your facilities and the physical characteristics of those facilities throughout your municipality. So typically that would mean your municipal buildings, your rec areas, your playground areas, the streets and sidewalks, curb ramps, and in some cases, your regional district doesn't apply to you, but schools. So if you're just solely just local schools. Massachusetts is one of the few states that also has its own state building code. It's 521 CMR, Code of Mass Regulations. It's a specialized section under the state building code, but it is strictly a building code. It is different than ADA, which is civil rights. 521 is strictly building. It is only triggered by construction. And there's this little formula. So if the work being done is less than 30% of the value of the building and under $100,000, then only the work that's being done must be accessible compliant. If it's under 30% and over $100,000, then the work that's being done, the entrance, bathroom, drinking fountain, a couple of things, those must be accessible compliant. If the work being done is more than 30% the value of the building, then the whole building must be brought into compliance. And it's a 3-year period, so it could be last year, this year, next year. It could be this year and the past 2 years. So that's the dollar value of the work being done is looked at from that standpoint. The standards are different. I mentioned the ADA, the standards are like yay thick. 521, they're about this thick. Mike actually sits on a subcommittee for the state, looking at revamping the 521 CMR standards to make it more in line with ADA, but that's still a work in progress and hopefully sooner than later. But it's going to tend to bring it more in line with ADA, because the problem right now is the standard's different. The standards under 521 CMR in some cases are different than ADA. Some cases ADA is more strict, some cases 521 is more strict. So when we do these plans, we look at the higher of the 2 standards and apply those in your report. I'll get into the more detail now a little bit later on. ADA also, we talked a little about this afternoon at your department heads meeting, led by Jim. ADA also allows you to address things other than in a structural way. So you could modify certain programs, practices, or services, or you could relocate a program or service in order to deal with, in order to comply with ADA. So for example, if your second floor was not accessible at all, and you offered maybe a recreation program on somewhere in a room, whatever it was, not accessible. Well, rather than, put the elevator in, or put a stair lift in, or a chair lift, or whatever it is, you could just move that, under ADA, move that program to a room on the first floor, assuming the first floor was also accessible. So there's different, variations under the ADA. And we consider that when we do these reports. We'll give you options, and sometimes 2 or 3 options that you may want to consider, as opposed to the, the heavy cost item. So that gives you different opportunities. Under the plan format and content, now this is a plan we just did for the town of Barry. Depending upon how many facilities are involved, in this case, we didn't do any schools for Barry. They're also a regional district. It's about 150 pages in length. Yours will be probably similar. When we get schools involved, they're much more intensive and more work, and you probably add 100 pages onto your document. So, but you're probably looking at something of this sort. We have, there's 4 areas or 4 sections we have our plan is broken into. The first one is our front end section. I'll get into that in a second. Then the second part is self-evaluation piece, which Mike is going to talk about. There's 11 different areas we look at under that. There's only 5 that are required though. Required to look at. We look at more than what's required to look at. The third section is the transition plan, which is actually the individual building or facility assessments. And I'll get into that later on. And then the last part of it is the appendices, which includes the survey form we send out. It includes any recommended policies, procedures, or whatever it may be. And then we also have in there a list of potential funding sources for you. So we have that in there. So the front end piece, and we talked about this afternoon, we feel that this document should be your go-to for ADA compliance and your reference guide, rather than have to go search all over the place to find things. So we've done it so we have 10 different chapters in this section that talk about things which are at your fingertips that you might need more information on. So we talk about the ADA and those 5 titles in more detail. We talk about other federal accessibility regulations. That's a whole other chapter that may affect you. We have a section more detail about 521 CMR and how it's triggered and what applies. We have another chapter on alterations to historic properties, because there are exceptions to historic properties, and the process you would do to get those exceptions or variants under historic consideration. We talked about this a little bit this afternoon. So we have a chapter on EV charging stations. Now, you don't have any in town now. There's no regulations on EV charging stations, but there are regulations on reach range, accessible routes of travel, on parking spaces. So we have that all in there. So if you put a charging station in, the running slopes, cross slopes, no more than 2%. You must have 36 route of travel to it. You must have it within the reach range of a wheelchair user. So we have that in there. So at some point in the future, you go, we're going to go to chapter 5. It's right there.
I see him coming to town
Yeah.
18
Yep.
time soon.
Yep.
We tried doing it, and it was a complete mess. So
Well, then your building inspector, then if someone business puts it on, but it's in there if you ever do. Because we've seen them all over the place with it just, but anyway. So we have another section on emergency preparedness for persons with disabilities, which police or fire might find that useful. We had another section or chapter on ADA emotional support animals versus service animals, and there's only 2 service animals, miniature horses and dogs, and nothing else. So someone comes in with their weasel or their snake, and that's my service animal. No, emotional support. You have to leave. You can't bring that in here.
had an emotional support iguana one time from somebody. Yeah, no.
It happens. We have another section on ADA compliant portable toilets. And where I say, if you're going to have it one of your rec areas, I was talking to Jim McKeon this morning down at Dean, Hobo Gendron, and he says, yeah, they bring in portable toilets and nice for events. So Mike and I have never come across a ADA compliant toilet. So make sure that, and so we have it all in there. So we often see accessible toilets, but there's not enough maneuvering space in front of the toilet, the water closet. The grab bars are too high. or the dispensers are too high, or they're mounted over the grab bar. So we have it in here, we have some photographic examples. Yeah, this is, if you're gonna pay for an ADA toilet, this is what you should be getting. Emergency eye wash stations, we have a section on that because we often see those and they're not within the user of a wheelchair because they're too high, there's no knee clearance. And they're making some new products up there, if there's a renovation, you have to do that, then we have that in there. And then we have another section on accessible routes of travel, and also the same dealing with playgrounds and playground materials. I know we're looking at Cutter Park for some future stuff, actually met with Chris and Duffy and Jeremy Olson?
Yep.
Okay, a week or two ago. Out there, we have that all right up for them, ready for, I think, your grant applications, can look at something for design. So there are different materials, there's different pros and cons and costs. There's what's acceptable for routes of travel in the playground. There's also what's acceptable as a fall zone material within the equipment you're using. So we have a section on that, so you know, for the future, it's good reference if you need to have that. So I'm gonna turn it over to Mike, he's gonna talk about the self-eval, and then we're gonna come back, a little bit of detail on what the building assessments are specifically, and then open up for questions. So Mike, do you wanna talk about your self-eval piece?
Oh, absolutely. I could talk about this stuff all day. Actually, not really. Yep, so the self-evaluation, you know, what that is, in a nutshell, really is, we just review, you know, the town's policies, procedures, programs, services, and just make sure as a whole that these policies, procedures aren't discriminatory toward people with disability. Some of the documents that we would look for is, you know, or should I say are, like, is there any posting of who your ADA coordinator is? I was able to cheat a little bit, and I know that Karen here is the town's ADA coordinator. And I did notice it in your 2022 annual report as well. You know, do you have a grievance procedure on file? You know, grievance procedure is basically a complaint form. If you know, for someone with a disability who feels as though they were discriminated against because of their disability, that's what the grievance procedure does. Does the town have a reasonable accommodation policy? You know, those are the things that we look for, and if there aren't any in the town yet, the beauty of our plans, in the appendices in the back, we'll actually have samples of ADA grievance procedures. You know, samples of the naming of the ADA coordinator. We also look to see if you have a commission on disability. You know, a commission on disability would you know, be through a you know, town meeting vote to enable a disability commission to form. It's Mass General Laws 40, Chapter 40, Section HA. Again, it does not appear as though you have a disability commission yet, but we can help you with that too. So
Very hard to get volunteers for anything. It's one
you
of
know
those
what?
things.
And on a side note, you're right. I've been chairing Millbury's Commission on Disability for over 20 years, and we're having a hard time getting new people as well. I mean, like, I'm 64 years old, and I'm the youngest one. I'm the youngest commission member. So we really
Sounds a
need
lot
to
like
have-
our town.
Yeah, we really need some, you know, younger people to sit on that. So believe me, I can feel your pain. Now I'm just gonna segue into the actual self-evaluation form and cover letter. If you haven't already received it, you will. But what it is, the survey form is a 6-page form with 13 questions, and it's in a short answer format. But feel free, to answer. You can have one-word answers. We're not here to correct grammar or anything like that. Also, if some of the questions, do you have a policy for making a reasonable accommodation? If you don't, say, feel free to say no. Don't feel bad. I know there have been, times where, the whole section of the short answer is, oh, but we wanted to do, it's like, forget about it. Just, if you don't have one, we'll show you how to do it.
Well, we just respond, if we do get a complaint, I just normally would respond in writing to somebody that would be seeking a, some type of accommodation.
Yeah, in fact, that's all
We
spelled
just
out.
do a
in-
review of it, and
Yeah.
if we can provide it in a.
Yeah, that's all spelled out in the grievance procedure. It gives you the step-by-step. The form itself, the beauty of it is it comes in, Microsoft Word fillable. So you can, just literally open up the form, fill it out, save it, make sure you save, and then, you can email it to me, Jim, or your town administrator, and, get them to me. I just ask that they come to me in Microsoft Word. Please no PDFs, and really, please don't no handwriting, because it's just, you just can't read it. I mean, I remember my worst nightmare was, not only did I get a survey filled out in handwriting, but it was in PDF to boot. It's like, are you kidding me? And that was gonna be the town administrator to be. So it's like, okay. But other than that, questions, the cover letter that comes with it has both my and Jim's contact information, whether it be phone number or email addresses. So really, that's it.
Mike, I would also like to get you a copy of our personnel bylaw. That may have some of those policies that you had talked about, just in your speech there, addressing some of those, so there's those issues. So if you guys could take a look at the personnel policy bylaw.
Oh, okay.
And look at that as part of that.
Yeah, you know what, I have discovered, those kind of documents in that. The bylaws on your website?
Online, yep, it's on the website.
All right, no, that's really good to know. I know other places that we saw the possibility of ADA-related documents was the open space plans. Open space recreation plans. We've come across some documents in them too. I don't know if you have any open space rec plans on file now?
Yeah, we do, we just recently have some that we just got. We're working with CMRPC. I'm sure they can provide you those as well.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I've heard very good things about CMRPC. So that being said, any questions from
I
my
actually
new
have
folks?
one. Is this something, do towns usually add on like an ADA compliancy thing on like their website? That somebody, if they have a question, they can click on that and see plans, policies,
Yeah, yeah.
accessibility to buildings?
Yeah, and we highly encourage that. Because the self-evaluation portion of our final report, that's on me. And one of the things I always recommend is to actually have a webpage dedicated to the ADA.
Okay.
That could be your, that could be the area to store all your ADA related documents, including the grievance procedure, so yeah.
And would you have on there like building accessibility? Like because I think it would be useful if somebody was looking and they say, oh, before I go there, I wanna make sure I can get in the building, but what entrance do I go to?
Yeah.
Which entrance is the ADA
You could,
entrance?
you could.
Yeah,
Because I know with us, it's unique unless you actually go to that door.
Right.
And you
Right,
know,
right.
because you typically wanna go to this door, the first one, but that's not where the lift is, it's at the next door.
Yeah,
So-
now, getting, down to the, individual buildings and stuff like that, we'd probably direct you to the actual completed plan itself. Because, our plans, our final ADA plans, have, Jim writes up the transition plans, and they're all separate ones. So there'll be there'll be a transition plan for the town hall, the transition plan for the police department. And there you can get, is there accessible parking, is there an accessible entrance? And that'll all be answered in intricate detail in the transition plans.
And segueing into that, keep it brief, again, as Mike just said, each facility has its own report. This one here this is from Barry's, this is the library, it's about 10, 12 pages with the photographs, all that. So the format, you'll have these, because you can take them separately, you can take the whole plan. So we like to do, a paragraph or two, just describing the facility, when it was built, how many levels, what it encompasses, program and services, photograph, and then who the responsible party is for that, for that facility. And then we found very helpful, and this is a couple of pages here in this case, where we do a narrative summary of the areas of non-compliance. We break it out, so this says parking, front entrance, interior general, this is a certain reading room, stairs, the bathrooms, you can go through. In this case here, and I think we're gonna have there's gonna be 2 bathrooms, these so far, we've only done the first floor and the lower level. That might fall into the same category, which are staff areas only. In this case, we talked about that. ADA governs employee workspaces, 521 CMR does not. And so there's also areas where with employee workspaces, if the benefit, the cost to reconstruct an area for full compliance supersedes the benefit gained, then we look at that and we say, then the modifications be done as required by a reasonable accommodation request, if it's feasible to do. And I have that here, there's 2 areas in Barry, and these are bathrooms which were not accessible. They were 3 feet by 3 feet, and just you could turn around in them. But there was a public bathroom which was fully accessible, 10 feet down the hallway. So again, recommendation because of that, employee only, it's not a public bathroom. So you wouldn't have to make a modification of that bathroom only if it had been set aside by a fully reasonable accommodation request, if it was reasonable. So, anyway, I bring it up because you didn't have that here, we'll deal with that in the report, you'll see what I'm talking about at that point in time. So, we have, look at this table format, and we have a section, this just first column, is the specific areas of non-compliance by category. And we're very, very detailed exactly what it is that's a non-compliance. If it's an operating force that is 7 pounds, it should be 5 pounds, we say that. If it's a height of whatever it is, and it's 6 inches too high, or if it's without the range of tolerance, we know exactly what it is. We cite the federal code specifically, the state code, so you can actually go online, click on it, and see exactly what we're talking about, so you have a quick reference, or your building committee, or whomever, and then exactly what action needs to be done to bring it to compliance. If it's something that's gotta be raised, let's say, for example, a grab bar in a bathroom. It's supposed to be 33 inches to 36 inches above finished floor, and there's no tolerance on that. There are tolerances for other things. So that 33 to 36 is your tolerance range. If you're 36.5 inches, 37 inches, technically it's too high, we need to be lower. So we'd say, you need to lower the grab bar 1 inch, half an inch, whatever, or inset it, whatever it is, we specifically know what it is. We continue with our priority 1, 2, 3, or 4. We detail what those priority levels are in a document. A feasibility 1, 2, 3, or 4. A time frame, immediate, near, or far. We have a range of years for those immediate, near, or far. And then we give a rough cost estimate of what that would be. Cost estimates, again, for some things are pretty straightforward. For others, it's gone with construction. Metal prices have gone through the roof. So, we do the best we can and say it's going to be up to plus or between this and that amounts, plus. And then we have representative photos at the end for those areas that we feel should be appropriate. You should, kind of see what those are, and that is, ending to that's your report. We do look at. So there are some areas, and I mentioned the reasonable accommodations, and we talked about this a little bit this afternoon, which are would be in your highway garage, in your fire stations, and in your police station, that are employee-only work areas, and the employees, unless there is a civilian personnel who might also need access to a certain area, but typically then your firefighters, your DPW workers, highway workers, and then your police must meet certain physical conditions to perform their duties. So that coupled with areas not being open to the public, such as maybe your day room, your bunk room, your lockers, could be your apparatus space. We look at those areas, we write up in a narrative, we designate those, that these are non-public areas. These are the areas of non-compliance. However, at this point in time, you do not need to make any changes to those areas unless a reasonable accommodation request by an employee, or you change the use or services operated in that area. So for example, and I gave one of these this afternoon, if you had a second floor, let's say your fire station was 2-story, here we go, police station. So police station, and let's say the second floor, you had a big meeting space there, and you had it for training for the officers or whatever it may be. But now let's say, no, you know what, we're gonna start running hunter safety, firearm training, we're gonna do CPR training up there, open to the public, but it's not accessible. So now you just changed the use of that second floor space, which was before just restricted to police personnel who had to meet certain physical requirements for the job. Now you've changed that. So then you'd have to either discontinue that public use, or you have to make it accessible to all. And I gave an example, it was in town of Southwick where we did their plan. And police had a multi-level building, 2 levels, and they had training being done for their officers up on the second floor. Well, then they opened it up for the same thing I just mentioned, CPR, they had youth programs up there, not accessible. Next door, fire station, 2 levels, had an elevator, second floor, and a big training room. Complaint was filed, and they were required by a court order to file at the Hampden County Registry of Deeds a permanent deed restriction that the second floor of that police station was not open to the public. and they could only do trainings for their in-house police officers. If they did public trainings, then they would have to use the fire, station training room. I mean, that wasn't part, that latter part wasn't part of the order, but the restricted use was on that. So, again, that's how we address from a common sense standpoint if we kind of come across those situations.
And just a couple more things on the grant. Our deadline for that's June 30th, so we're gonna get your plan by then. We were able to swap out in the scope the treatment plant, which is private, for the transfer station, which we do include and assess.
No, the water districts.
That's what I.
Water district.
Water districts
Oh,
was
sorry.
private.
That's what I
Keeping
thought I
the
said.
yeah.
We're doing it
transfer,
through-
yeah.
Long day, sorry.
Yes.
And then, at the end of this, you're gonna be better prepared to address some of these barriers and be competitive for funding. Not just for accessibility improvements, but the state requires ADA plans for a variety of their community one-stop, housing livable communities, a few other things, programs that require ADA plans. So, we're excited to be doing this for you, and thanks again for your time tonight.
Very good, yeah, excited to have it done, we know we have some issues, and we've been trying to work on things that we can work on, and, but we're no experts in ADA compliance at all, and having you guys come in and help us with this, I think is a great opportunity to be able to, make our community much more accessible for everybody. So, I appreciate that, and, looking forward to the feedback on this, and see what we can do. Do you have any questions?
Do you look at, I guess, like streets and stuff, crosswalks, things like that? Not just the buildings?
No, we're gonna look at, so we do, typically we do the downtown area, so we'll look at, West Warren, we'll look at, Warren Center. We'll look at the crosswalks, curb ramps. Look at sidewalks, pretty much for the accessible route, we'll do segments of sidewalks. So if you have any abrupt changes in level surface, reduce clear width. If you have protruding objects, so protruding object, I didn't talk about this earlier. Protruding object is anything between a height of 27 inches and 80 inches above finished floor with a 4 inches protrusion into that, more than a 4-inch protrusion into that accessible route, such as a mailbox. It could be, we've actually I think it's Millbury, we had a restaurant who had some things put on there into the sidewalk which served as protruding objects, or reduced clear width. So lots of times we'll see on trash collection day, where's everybody put their dumpster or their cart? Right in the sidewalk, and then what can you do? And we've seen some cases they have a permanent dumpster right in the middle of the sidewalk. Sometimes you have telephone poles, reduce the clear width from 36 down to 34, 32. In some cases, you've got the telephone guy wire, which is not horizontal, and then vertical, it's at an angle, and that cuts across the sidewalk, and that's at less than 80 inches, so that if I'm sight impaired, I can walk into that guide wire and I can possibly hurt myself. So we look at those things as part of the sidewalk and curb ramp and crosswalk and stuff.
Okay. All right. No?
Mr. Bard, do you have anything?
No, I'm just really excited to get this report done. I mean, it's been 17 years, almost, a little over that, and the town has had one of their plans updated, and this will help us as a roadmap to identify and tackle capital improvement projects as they come up, other grant funding needs as they come up. So this will be a great tool for a resource for us to go to see how we can address some of these deficiencies.
And just one thing to add, and I know you're gonna move on. So Mike and I are both available. We still have plans we did 4 or 5 years ago. We get phone calls, and advice on things, or we'll tell them, well, if, rather than 2-hour site visit, can you take a photo and, describe it, or even send a plan, copy of it, send it to us in a PDF, we can look at it, review it, get back to you, or, again, we'll just tell you on the phone, no, this is, no, that's right, that's not right, you gotta do this, or we'll do a little sketch, it should be like that. So, we're there as free technical assistance, down the road, in the future, if you have things you need to have.
So, speaking of that, because one of the things we're planning here in the future is a public safety complex.
Yep.
And we've been going through a study for that. Maybe they could look at the study and say, you guys can pick out something saying, hey, this is gonna be a problem for you in the future, so you might wanna fix this before you build the building. so it doesn't cost you a lot of money later on.
Well, we did that for a town of Brookfield. They were looking to make a bathroom on the first level accessible, so they sent us the plans for that piece of it. And yeah, there's a lot of things that we identified, because what the problem is, that the architects will say, according to code, and, okay, well, unfortunately, most of your contractors' code, they're thinking 529 CMR, not the ADA code. And there's differences, and ADA in some cases is more strict. So we went through, we said, no, we made a number of the footnotes, very specifically what those compliance should be, what exactly, the reach range height would be, and that's easy to do for the architect, but it should be in there. And we've also, unfortunately, I think it was this one here, it was their public safety complex, and it was relatively new. But there was issues with their parking and with their accessible route. Their curb ramps essentially were way too steep. So again, 8.3% is your running slope to get up, and they had something like 15%, and that's very steep to get up in and onto the sidewalk. So stuff like that, yeah, it really can be done and saves you down the road. You have to jackhammer it all up and report.
That would be very helpful to get it done before, and,
Yeah.
because we don't know, but having somebody in you guys' position where you're very knowledgeable on it, to review it, and things may stand out and say, hey, found no errors, perfect, you're good, move forward with it, if this is what you wanna do, or hey, these are things we might wanna suggest before it costs you money down the line.
Well, we did brand new elementary schools. One was in East Hampton and one was in Northbridge. And I think the East Hampton wasn't even, they opened up only part of the building. So we're walking around, we're finding things left and right, wrong, so wrong. So we went and it's, we went into the room with the OPM, and so where's the plans? You're going through and it's like, finding, well, where is it? Well, I think it's here. Yeah, it says something over here about this, and it's like, well, where's the architect? Where's the building commissioner? And what's the OPM doing? Nobody's catching it. I mean, it's stuff that was gonna cost the town some serious money,
Yeah, we can't afford to be making mistakes, we need to get it right the first time, so.
Right, nobody can, and
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
you
Get it
know,
right the first time.
You can have 3 experts on something and they all agree, and then you have somebody from the outside come in and look at it and say, but you missed this and this and this.
Yeah.
So-
Case in point, in East Hampton, same architects, but they actually had different contractors. So, like say Jim, was talking about the elementary school, all sorts of violations. However, same architects in, I think maybe the high school, and they had, different contractors, and the high school was just maybe, it was down to like punch list items. And again, so it's really about the contractors.
Yeah. All right. Anybody have any questions for?
What's the best town?
Just identify your
Tim Bison.
your name and resident.
Tim Bison, yeah. Warren,
The best town?
yes, that meets all
That's,
in general.
yeah, that's a loaded question because
I
some.
know, that's why I asked.
I'd say there really is no best town because some towns might have a really great municipal office building.
Yeah.
But there's-
Overall, what's the best?
You know,
Okay, I'll make it easier.
It's kind of a hard question to do.
What's the worst town?
So how about we focus on things within our community and how we can improve our community?
You always learn from others.
yeah.
We do,
Right.
but we also don't need to point out others' mistakes in our community here, because we have enough that we need to look at on our own.
Let me just, sorry, probably some of the communities have the older schools built in probably anywhere from the 18, early 19s up to 1960, have got problems. So again, the older school, if the newer schools, so we mentioned, we found a lot of issues, but I'm talking issues of virtually no access at all, no bathrooms being accessible, not just little things that could be changed, but still cost money. Those types of communities, or the towns that have older town halls that have made no effort to make improvements at all. And I'm not gonna name the name of the town.
Okay.
Mike knows the one I'm talking about. They have, it's in central Mass, close to Worcester, and they have a ramp going up into the building, first floor, but their selectmen's meeting room, their town administrator's office, and his little private meeting room are on the second level. There's no access at all, stairs, and they still hold all their public meetings up on the second floor. So you can't access it, so.
You know, that's one of the things we looked at, because we were talking about moving offices around, maybe we should hold meetings upstairs. And it's like, no, we need to make sure it's accessible.
Yep.
Even, not even for somebody with a wheelchair, but somebody that has a hard time just walking.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, because just stairs in general, somebody with hip problems, they may not have a wheelchair or have anything like that, but it's very difficult for them to walk up the stairs. And it becomes a deterrent for them to want to attend something. So we try to be on the lower level, and this is our main meeting room to do all this stuff, so. And this is where we encourage a lot of the meetings to happen, is in this room. So.
Yeah, and I'll say I do have, my worst towns for ADA compliance, but like Jim was alluding to, prefer not to say,
Right.
especially in a public forum where,
Right.
it's.
We don't need to put anybody else out there, we need to handle what's wrong in our
Yeah.
town and build on that and fix what we can fix. And that's what we're here for, and, if anybody else has any more questions, anybody? Anybody on Zoom? Just Jim McKeon?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, nobody has any questions on Zoom. So, we look forward to your reports. Thank you very much, and anything you can help us fix in our community. God willing, it's not too expensive. Because I think that's what becomes a deterrent for some small towns sometimes, is because the labor cost for it, or the cost overall, like you were saying, sometimes doesn't weigh the benefit. And small towns, when we're really kind of picking away at our budget and trying to figure out where we can save, and all of a sudden you have to put in an elevator that's $300,000 or more.
Times 4.
Or more. It's like, is that really gonna benefit us? You know? At that point, we should just consider building a whole new building at that point, because if we're gonna do it when we build a new building, instead of trying to do something in an old building. You know?
Yeah, and, Jim can easily speak to it better than I, but the beauty of our plans, we show, the issue, we show the possible remedies, and then, there's a feasibility, like, number one, easy fix. That TV would have been a protruding object, but place those seats there, now you don't have the problem. So.
So we should put a little table there.
Huh?
We should put a little table there.
That would serve the purpose, yeah.
Yeah, so so we do have that built in, because, there's no way would you be able to get everything done in a year.
Right. No. Especially in our budgets.
Yeah, and
But we're gonna do our best to do what we can that will make the most impact for any of the visitors or anybody that works here.
yeah,
So.
and legislation acknowledges, and the case law has shown, as long as you're making good faith efforts, that's what's important. You have legal protection if you have a plan, and you're chipping away at it. So that's great. It's the right attitude.
It really gives us a good, like a checklist, so we know,
Yeah.
like, we can forecast things, because we have a capital improvement plan that we're working on now. And if something's a big money item, then we can put that on the improvement plan and try to work towards that.
Great.
But, did you have anything else?
No?
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Did you have anything else for us?
No.
Not now, next time we meet.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Take care. Have a good night. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Our pleasure.
Nice evening. No, wait a minute. Makes it ADA okay.
There we go. Okay, next thing on the agenda is presentation by Entree Technologies for management of IT services for the town. Would that be you
Do
guys?
you want us to come up?
Absolutely. Not a very good presentation if you do
From
it in
back
the
there,
back seats.
absolutely. Nice
How
to
you
meet you.
doing?
I'm Jolene Hart. I'm an account manager at Entree Technologies.
And I'm Craig Slozak. I am the service manager at Entree.
Okay, nice meeting you both.
Nice
Welcome.
to meet you.
We're, as you know, we've been reviewing a lot of our things that we've been doing within our town. And we've been looking at how we can do them more efficiently, for a better price. Budgets are getting really tight these days, as we all know. We all have to go grocery shopping and we all know what it costs. And we try to keep our budget as low as possible for the residents because these costs get passed on to them. So one of the things we looked at is how we can improve our IT services while getting an equal or better service for a better price.
Absolutely.
And I think you've probably done this before, so you know what we're about
Yes,
on that.
absolutely.
So, what do you have for us today? A presentation?
I can start, yeah.
Okay.
So, I'm not sure if any of you have heard of Entree Technologies, but we're out of West Springfield, Massachusetts. I don't know if Jim handed all these out. Do you need copies? They're just of our quote and of some sample reports that are you guys all set with this? Do you need one too?
Sure,
Okay,
I guess,
awesome.
yeah.
It's just our quote and then some sample reports. But so Entree's been in business for over 40 years now. I've been with Entree for over 10 years, and Craig 11, yeah.
Okay.
So we know the business. We're familiar with working with towns. We're familiar with not only working with towns, we also work with the school systems. We work with commercial businesses as well. We go everywhere from Western Massachusetts all the way out to Boston, all the way into Connecticut, kind of in the New England area. We have over 50 employees right now and growing. Most of them are technicians. We have a full help desk that is in our back that's answering calls all the time for all of our managed service customers. Plus, we have our certified engineers that are out on the road all the time, coming on site if anything's needed for any projects, break fix, anything that is needed on that end. So I don't know if you want me to jump into kind of what we have in our offering here, but our managed services is a little different. We our core value goes off of relationships. So we feel that you need to see a face every month in order to get to know us, in order for us to get to know you. So our monthly cost includes somebody coming on site every month. That's an additional to, say, something breaks and we can't fix it remote and we have to come on site. This is totally opposite. This is a scheduled tech that you see all the time, but they get to know you and you get to know them, and it's a regular visit every month. So we feel that that's a little different than what other people are offering, and we feel that's important. As well as you have a dedicated account manager, which would be me, that's handling anything that's coming in as far as any issues that come up or any quoting. We also not only do managed services, but we also provide product and procurement and stuff like that. So that would come through me. Um,
installation
So
of
if
that
we needed to
product.
order a new computer or anything, we would order that
Yep.
for you?
Correct, yes.
And we could install it too, as well.
Okay.
Yep. So the ordering of the product would come through me, and then it would go into Craig's hands, who would then handle the service and install of it.
Because currently we have a lot of outdated computers, and we've been trying to upgrade because we've gotten new technologies for our systems. We've upgraded software for a lot of our financial software and stuff, so some of the things that we're running into is some of the computers are very outdated, or they don't have enough memory on them
Yep.
to be able to run certain things.
Right.
So we're trying to fix those things now and deal with them. One of the things we did is battery backups and surge protectors.
Or
Because-
UPSs.
So if system went down or we lost power, you wouldn't lose everything on your computer, you know.
Right.
So we've been doing a lot of updates to make sure everything's more streamlined, more efficient, and services aren't being cut off because of technical issues. Because if somebody's computer goes down, that means they can't work. Yeah, they can't get done a majority of what they need to do these days.
Right.
Because nobody does filing cabinets. We have lots of filing cabinets around, but they're outdated records that we have in them.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's really important to have a good working system.
Right.
So we've been trying to update that here as best as we can.
Sure.
Did you have anything? You're more of a computer guru than I am.
Yeah, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
add on to that, so, part of this service, which is included in that, is us monitoring all those devices, from our office, and we can monitor hardware and performance and all that kind of stuff, so we'll know most of the time, before you do, like if a hard drive's gonna fail, we'll call you up and say, hey, David, you know, your computer, just flagged us for a, pre-filled hard drive. Let's get something scheduled, so that you don't just have a failed hard drive suddenly and you can't work. We'll schedule it so that we can
And
replace the
lose
hard
all the
drive.
information you have on that
Exactly,
computer.
so, and then another thing too is in that pamphlet that Jolene handed out is a sample report. It's got a bunch of colors on it. I don't know if you guys want to.
Hardware life cycle?
Yep, there. So once we have our agent on everything, we can run a report. And what that report does is looks at the warranty and the age of the hardware, okay? So obviously, if you're out of warranty, then things cost to fix, right? And then the age of the hardware, we see anywhere around 5 years, you guys are gonna start having some problems with your hardware. So that tool right there is a really great budgeting tool, especially for towns that need that, right? We'll set whatever parameters you guys have as far as how long you wanna keep your equipment for. Could be greater than 5 years. We see some towns do that, it could be 7. And then that will get printed out, and we could do it monthly if you want. Send it over to you, and you could say, hey, it looks like we've got these 10 computers coming up that are getting pretty old. Let's budget for replacing those.
Okay.
It also builds out a budget too, based off of, your criteria that you give us. So, right on the back page, I think there's a sample of that. That data is totally, sample data, so.
Yep.
Yep, that one right there, perfect.
So it tells you the servers and everything.
Yep. Age of the servers, age of the OS is on your appliances. And a lot of times we find that once we get into a customer that, is new to us, and we provide that report, it's pretty eye-opening. Cause they're like, oh, wow, I didn't know that stuff was that old, or, that type of thing.
Yeah, we know we get some older computers and, some stuff that's going on. We actually put money to the side in our budget to be able to take care of some of this stuff.
Yep.
Because it is becoming a problem and affecting services,
Yeah.
so, we're trying to be proactive with that and get that stuff done.
Yep.
But again, we've been doing a lot in this town over the past few years, and this is another thing we need to get updated and, make more efficient.
Sure.
For our town, and, the next thing is the website too. You guys don't do websites?
We don't, but we have people that we work with that do websites.
Because that's
Yep.
the next thing, because our website is,
They don't work for Civic Plus, do they?
No.
So yeah, that's who we use, and
Yeah.
A lot of towns use it.
Yeah.
it's great if you're a computer engineer and you know how to do that stuff, but for the average person,
Mhm.
yeah, trying to do this stuff, it's like, nothing is simple on
Yeah.
it. So we're looking something that's more user friendly, if one of the departments needs to update their website, they can just go in and
Don't have to
make a change.
make a call or.
Not do all kinds of things, and
Right.
it just overcomplicates it, so. But
Also,
as far as training, one of the things that we get now is, and we find very useful, is we get a lot of, they do training sessions as far as like, you can go online and do certain trainings for your computer. Which ones are they? They're like the,
The cyber.
cyber awareness training, things like that.
That's on this quote as well.
And then things that they send out is they actually send out like phishing emails
That was included in this as well.
and try to catch the employees, and if the employee does it, then
They get a flag and you gotta.
yeah,
do
you
some
get
more training.
flagged, and then
Yeah.
Jim gets
Go
notified.
straight to training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't even, you just go straight to training.
Yeah, people don't realize how important that is because,
It
you know,
is.
we can put all the things in place for security wise. All it takes is one click on an email and you have a problem.
Yeah.
So the weakest link in the security stack is usually the person, the people. That's why that training is so important. And it's
Yeah,
overlooked a
we-
lot too.
We like that a lot, and,
Yeah.
you know, we get tested here and there, and,
Yeah.
we'll mention, hey, maybe it's time to send out something and let the employees see who we catch on this one. And I think we're getting pretty good about it, right, Andy?
Yeah, we've come a long way, in a short period of time over, participation.
Yep.
We mention it now in the department head meetings and staff meetings. We go over the percentages, maybe somebody will get a friendly email saying, hey, look, you've consistently missed your training, please, participate in the next
Yeah.
round. They usually come out every first of the month, so.
Report to the town administrator's office on Monday morning.
No, I mean, we make it real for them, we'll talk about a recent, town that maybe had a ransom or had a cyber attack or something, and we'll bring an article to our meeting and, let people know, our staff know, we're not, this is serious.
Yep.
And so, it's important. But, those trainings are very helpful, and I'm sure there'll be one, tomorrow or early next week, for our current provider. And so you guys put those out on a monthly basis, or?
Yep, so it's, you get the training once a month, which is, I believe, the first of the month, which like you said,
Yeah.
but the emails, the phishing emails are
Could be sporadic, yeah.
Because we don't want, two people sitting next to each other say, hey, I just got this email, oh, I got it too, type of thing. We want it to be totally random, so everybody's caught off guard, and they look legit.
Yeah.
We do them in our office too for our people, and they're like, sometimes I really don't know.
Yeah,
It's got
sometimes you look
mark,
at it and you're like, I don't know, they
Yeah.
know a little bit about our town here, and
Yeah. Yep.
but be safe.
Absolutely.
Don't click on the links.
If you don't know, I say delete.
Don't enter your personal information into the website.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
All right, so that's good to know that you do those, so we're still getting that.
I have questions.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
All right, so back to replacing computers.
Yes.
Do you do leasing, and is
Yep.
leasing an option that would work?
It is.
Okay,
We find that towns tend to navigate towards that because it's predictable,
yeah.
right?
That was my thought.
Yeah.
If there, it's a 3-5 year lease?
You
what
can do
would-
either.
Either.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, we do have leasing companies that we work with, totally an option.
And you can own them at the end, or they can be taken back and replaced.
And you just
Yeah,
get new
get,
ones.
yeah, out of here,
Yep.
yeah. I mean, the problem with trying to budget is sometimes the budget ends up, you're gonna move that money to something else.
Yeah.
But if we have that leasing payment,
You know what it is.
yeah, you know what it is, and you know the computer's going away, and you're gonna get a fresh computer in, X amount of years.
Yeah.
It guarantees the the staff are getting new computers too.
Yeah.
It's one of the
No
things.
one
is
ever
like,
gets behind.
well, is it really that bad? You
Right.
know, can we
Yeah.
get through a few more years with
Just
it?
that office over there, they don't need it.
The duct tape seems
It's
to
just
be holding
smoking a little
it
bit,
down
don't
fine.
worry about it, yeah.
Don't mind that noise that it's making. Yeah.
Once a week.
So we have a physical server in the building that you, I don't know if you've seen.
We've seen it, yeah.
What do you think about getting rid of that and moving the server to the cloud?
It's only an option.
Okay,
We've done it with other customers.
okay.
We do it all the time.
And would we keep our regular desktops, or would you do like a thin client, do like a virtual desktop?
You can do either. Obviously, there's a little more of a lift into the cloud if you're looking to do the thin client option.
Okay,
It doesn't matter either way. It's all how you guys feel about it and what your temperature is for cloud and
See, the
either
problem
way
with
is
the
feasible.
cloud,
yeah,
the problem with the cloud for us is our internet. Our signal
That plays
is
into it.
bad.
Yeah.
Yes.
Our signal here is really bad.
Yep.
we do have.
So it's probably not a good option then.
So, like, you know, it'd be great to be on the cloud because then it's a lot more accessible and you don't have to maintain hardware that's very expensive locally.
Right.
But we also don't have the infrastructure
Yeah.
for the internet to be able to keep on pushing to the cloud and pulling from the cloud.
You would not have a fun experience if you have bad internet with that
Because we
solution,
have bad
unfortunately,
internet
yeah.
here, so
Um,
we gotta fix that first.
If that was fixed, then yeah, absolutely, we could do it all day.
And then the other thing is, so obviously we have all these accounts, email accounts and documents and everything already in Office 365.
Yep.
How do those get transferred from our current provider into, you know, sort of under your umbrella? Is that as easy as changing a subscription somewhere in Microsoft?
Yep, so
Okay.
essentially what happens is you have a tenant, and that tenant houses all the stuff you've just talked about, okay?
Yeah,
And there's licensing that is procured through your current provider that's just applied to that tenant. Essentially what happens is there's a new admin account created for us through the current provider, and we shut theirs off, and then we apply our licensing to your portal, and they cancel theirs, and then that's it, and everything stays right where it is.
okay.
Yep,
And it's transparent on our end?
you don't notice a thing.
Yeah, okay.
You
all right,
notice
that's
nothing.
good. Yeah.
So we're not gonna get all new email accounts.
No.
We all maintain the same ones that we have.
No, if that was the case, nobody would provide.
Yeah,
separate
yeah,
because
all
we're
right.
nightmare, you know what I
That's
mean?
a lot of
It's not
change.
fun, yeah.
Well, that's another thing too, is our emails have been screwed up for a long time, so, for example, mine is my last name at warren-ma.gov, but my wife is also on the Conservation Commission, same last name. There are two Dufranes, right? So, just, what it needs to be is like the first initial, last name, and maybe the board, because the two of us are also on planning.
Mhm.
And we're on select board, so,
Yeah.
but we want separate emails.
Mhm.
So I think our email structure needs to be changed and cleaned up.
A lot of
I think
options for
that's gonna add
that.
a lot to the price too, because you're adding accounts.
I know,
Well, yes and no.
For document
Depends on
issues.
if you utilize shared mailboxes or not. There's a lot of different options we could look
Okay.
at. Shared mailboxes don't cost anything, and you can give access to whoever you want to those.
but, okay,
But redoing the naming structure is feasible. It's a little bit of work, because you have to create aliases and stuff, because obviously
Yeah.
people have been emailing you at your email
Yeah,
address for
so
so
that would all
long.
need to
All of a
be-
sudden you change
yeah.
it, they don't know who you are or how to get to you, so, yeah, that's all feasible.
okay.
I think we've run into problems with shared mailboxes too,
Okay.
is because some training that employees have to do with the state, they can't put in a shared mailbox. It has to be specific to them.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So it has to have their name on that. So the shared mailbox is great for a department,
yes.
but then
Yeah, for the
we still need to have
You would still
individual
need those.
emails. But it would be great, because if I'm kind of picking up what you're talking about, is if you link the emails to the shared mailbox, that we could still access that. So if we could still use our email account, but use a shared mailbox for selectmen.
Yes.
And then a shared mailbox for planning board.
Yep.
We could still access those boxes,
100%.
Mhm.
And you can
but we
email
still
out of
maintain
that.
our own account.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep, so essentially you're just giving access to a shared mailbox to an email address. Your email address, your email address, and then that's literally what it is, a shared mailbox
Okay.
for a board, if you will,
Yeah.
or a group of people.
Yeah.
But where's that go into open meeting law?
I
That
don't,
would be fine as long.
Well, no, because if somebody's sending something, and then we're responding back to it from the open, a shared, because can we respond back through the shared mailbox?
you can, there's another option called a distribution list.
Yeah.
And what that is it's a mailbox, but you distribute it to everybody individually, and then you can reply as yourself.
Right, okay.
Because we're gonna look at open meeting law,
Yep.
because
Yeah.
if we respond, because we can't respond all, because then
Yes.
we're communicating now
Mhm.
via email. But if we had the shared, yeah, we'd have to really figure it out. I think that's getting.
Well, that's
beyond.
why.
Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
we
just
would
saying.
sit down and have conversations,
Yeah.
say, what are you guys trying to do, and
We need
let's
to
plan
figure
it
it
out.
out.
And, oh, we
But
can
that's
do
stuff
this,
you can
and-
do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because right now, some people use like their personal emails, a lot of people use Gmail, and then we have the Warren emails. And
Yeah.
we need to all be on the
Consolidate.
Warren email.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I mean, like Joni said, we've done this for other towns. We've been with, I'll just mention one town of Hamden for a long time. They love us, we love them. And they've gone through all this type of stuff too with the emails and everything you guys are talking about.
Anything else?
so for the town of Warren, are we looking at the Signature Plus plan? Is that what,
So
just so we understand?
it's a little bit of mix because
Oh, okay.
the Signature Plus includes 4 hours a month of on-site tech time. I only did 2 because I wasn't sure if you guys can do 4 if you want 4. But right now it's included as 2 hours a month.
See, like the 2 hours is probably okay, but then I think we'd want cybersecurity, spam filtering, and cyber training, right, that are part of the plus.
So
And the phishing.
that is a little misleading. It's more of a, what do you want?
Okay.
mix, Okay? So-
Yeah, all right.
So, we did do the cybersecurity training on here. We have email backup, which is very important, by the way.
Yeah,
We've got backup for your servers, and then your email. So if there's something that you see that's on that plus that you would like, it's
Okay.
not on the signature, we could put it on here.
yeah, so it's not either
It's
or,
not,
but,
no.
but, okay.
It's not.
I did it based on our discussion and what we thought you guys needed. So
Yeah,
it was
okay.
kind of a
That's-
mix of both.
We have
Yeah.
somewhat of a baseline that we truly stand behind, and that is this stuff.
Mhm.
And then the other stuff is more for more security-minded, really wanna hunker down on the hatches type, you know.
Yeah.
So this is our baseline, based off
Okay.
of what we saw and talked with Jim about. But all those other things are completely, you can just pick and choose them if you'd like to add them.
Okay,
And you can add them at any time too, like say we start things and then you're like, oh, wait, I actually think we need this. You can
Yeah.
add it at any time.
Yep.
And the other thing that I didn't mention is we don't sign any yearly contracts, anything like that. We're month to month. We feel like we need to earn your business every month. So, we don't sign any year things that you're locked into.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Joe, you're on the state contract?
Yes, we are.
For managed services?
Yes. ITC 73.
all right,
Would've
so,
been nice to have Derek here tonight.
yeah,
Well, he was at the,
Oh, he already-
he already talked to
He
him.
talked with me, yeah.
All right.
And if you guys
He
think of
drilled
anything
you?
after, you can email
He
us.
did, yeah.
He'll let you, all right.
did.
All right.
I'm used to it though, it's all good.
So what's the difference between the 365 basic and premium?
So,
Because they seem like the basic ends up giving you Office anyway, right?
It does on the web, so you're not getting
Oh,
actual
okay.
versions on your desktop.
yeah.
Oh, that's the difference,
Yeah.
okay.
Some people don't
Right.
mind and it works for them, but a lot of people prefer the
Oh, that's
download it
interesting.
and have it on my desktop, yeah.
But if you're using it on the web, you can still save to your own local hard drive, right? Or is it all saved on the
It's
web?
all on the web,
Oh.
yeah.
No?
no, you wanna do the premium. The premium's onto the hard drive, right?
Premium is
Yes.
the one that you can download the apps on your
Yes.
hard drive, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Again, we based this off of what we saw and
It's a
talked to
lot
Jim
more
about.
expensive, but
It's-
okay.
It's a lot more.
We can change it on the fly. It's
Yeah,
not a big
alright.
deal.
That's currently what we have.
So what's,
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's more expensive, our
The
hard drive?
premium, yeah.
yeah, because you're downloading the actual Office, Word app, Excel
Oh, yeah.
app,
Yeah,
as
they
opposed
get
to
you for
using
that.
it on the, through a browser.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's, I mean, it's 3 times the cost per person. So it's something to think about. There may be some people we could move onto the basic.
Well, they
It
already,
still needs
have
work.
21 though, that are on the premium.
Yeah, yeah. But still, you know.
These numbers are just based off of what we saw too, by the way, so we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
get in talks with the current MSP if we go forward, and it's totally different than this, but that's our pricing based off of what we thought and saw.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And obviously pricing is how it is, but it's based off of quantity. So like you add a desktop, it's gonna adjust. You lose a desktop, it's gonna adjust. So just
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's another thing, is keeping that scheme up to date, which is something that we've been working on, because that also fell by the wayside. So we had a ton of people on the premium
Yep.
that didn't need it.
Getting
It
a
just
lot of
needed
stuff
to be-
that we didn't need. and-
Yeah, we're paying a ton of money for
Yeah.
that, so.
Mhm.
So
Gotta
is
watch the numbers.
Yeah,
So
What's the
is
number?
premium per email or per computer?
Per email.
Email.
Okay, because like the police have one computer that has several people that use it.
Yep, it's per mailbox, so we can mix and match. So if there's a computer that needs Office installed on it, you need one premium license, but other people could
Yeah.
have just a mailbox.
Right.
Because they don't need it, you just need to go to the web and get your email, right? It's a kiosk, which is a
So,
lot cheaper.
so if we just purchase Office for them and put it on their computer, then it's on their computer.
You can do that, the risk you run.
I
is-
see a hand up there.
That's what we do. So
You just purchase the
each of my
software and put it
each
on
of our
there.
computers have the software.
Yeah.
Yep. You can do
And that's
that.
So
why
what's,
we only pay
what's
for
the
your
problem
emails.
with doing that?
So if you, and I don't know if, how long Microsoft's gonna do this for, he was mentioning buying a box version of
Yeah, yeah.
Office, right? Well, okay, that's great, you own it, but in 5 years, they're gonna stop supporting it. And then you
Right.
need to buy a new one anyways, and they're not cheap, they're like $300 a seat.
Yeah,
So at least with Office 365, you don't have to buy another version, you just have it. But yes, it is a monthly forever, unfortunately. So it's a trade-off.
And you're always getting that.
But when you got multiple accounts on there and they all need it because they write reports,
Yep.
then we don't have to have a premium account for each
You
one
don't
of
need a
them.
premium for each one, though. You
yeah,
only need
just one
one.
premium,
But will they all be able to use?
yeah. 'Cause
Office.
it's sitting
100%.
there on the computer.
Yep, it's already on the computer, you only need one version of premium.
So you get the version of premium, you install Word,
Yep.
it's on there, and it's done.
And then anybody can use it on that computer,
Yeah, because, yeah.
if they,
So I thought, like, you could only use the Office, like like Word and all that stuff, is if it was your email account attached to it.
everybody's gonna have an email account at some point, right? They're either gonna have a kiosk license, which is just email, or somebody's gonna have a premium, which is gonna get installed on that computer. We can do a full analysis with you,
Okay.
should we go forward.
Mhm.
So in the future, they
Might save
wouldn't
you some
need to
money.
buy new
Yeah.
ones. So they wouldn't need to buy the software anymore, and they'd have an updated version,
Yep.
as long as one of their officers, say the chief,
Yeah, do it under. the-
has the premium version, and then the rest of them all get it.
Mhm.
So it's per device, so if the chief has it, it's installed on his device. If anybody else uses that device, then they don't need a premium license. But if they go over there to that computer, a different one, and nobody has a premium license, you're out of luck. You don't have that, you don't have Office on it, so one person needs it.
Okay. Can one person use multiple devices?
Actually, yes. One person can have Office installed on 5 of their devices. They catch you with that because if you get audited, Microsoft will say, shame, shame, shame. Joe Schmo doesn't actually use this device, but his stuff's over here, so it's a little bit of a gray area, but yes.
All right.
The fines are expensive.
We'll
if they-
fig-
if they
we'll
catch
figure
you
out a
with
way.
it.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they're not cheap.
But they do say you can load it on your desktop, your laptop,
Yeah.
your phone. As long as it's your device, you have 5 things you can load it on.
The other thing I'll mention too, and I don't know if the police station was included in these numbers, but our techs are CJIS certified, by the way. So-
Yeah, I have a different IT company.
Okay. Well, maybe we should talk.
Maybe we can get a better price.
There you go.
But your emails are
Are
part
for
of
you guys,
this.
Yeah, the emails are included, but not the.
Not the support.
Not the support.
Okay.
But you guys do CJ support too then, huh?
Yeah.
Now, if that was tied into the town as one bill, would we get a discount on that?
It's per seat. So, I'm not sure what you're paying now for your IT support, but it may save you money, I don't know.
And you see the numbers per device, so
Yeah.
if you were just adding
add.
them,
Yeah.
it would go into that.
Yep.
So Chief, did you do that for like a security reason, or just because you happen to know this some other company? that-
We always have
specific.
our own, and the company that we use is also does all the people for Rutland Regional Dispatch.
Oh, okay.
Because we're all tied in together.
Yeah, all right. So is that something you would entertain, is looking at somebody else, or do you want to stick with what you have? Oh, okay, all right. It's a big maybe.
Right?
I mean, just to throw it out there, we do support the Mass State Police, so it's.
Oh, no, that. No, just kidding.
Through 4.
Just kidding.
All right, any other questions?
No, I don't think so.
Any questions? No, sir. You got anything there?
No, I already asked mine.
If you think of anything after we're available.
Right?
Hi, Ray Capaco. I'm a town resident and on the finance committee. You mentioned that there's not a monthly contract obligation from the town, but how often and when would you guys do any price change prices going forward so that we could budget properly?
So, we haven't raised our prices, well, we raised them once in 30 years. Jolene, who's the account manager, would have a monthly meeting with you guys and go over, you know, any changes that happened on your bill. Obviously, like we said, if you add a computer, you're gonna know the number, it's right here on your agreement. If you lose an office license or a computer, that number changes, it goes up and down based off of that. And that's a moving, breathing thing every month. So if an added change happens in the month, that's gonna be reflected on the bill. Like I said, we haven't changed this pricing model in a long time. Don't see us doing it anytime soon. But she also does a review with them every month.
And only one thing I would add, which I don't think we've stated yet, is that is your monthly fee that's set, no matter how many times we come out here, no matter how many phone calls come into our help desk, nothing changes regarding that. The only time that you'd ever see an additional bill is for projects, meaning like, oh, we have to replace a server. Well, that's a big project, so we would sit you down and we talk to you like, this is what it's gonna cost. You'd see that. Or any net new installs. So you want a new computer that's gonna be additional to your, to your environment. The install of that computer is going to be billable, the labor's gonna be billable.
If we have an employee that's having a problem with a computer, they can call you, work through that problem,
A million times.
and they're not getting charged anymore.
Correct. The only thing that would not be covered in that scenario, so say you call us up and you said, hey, my computer's running like crap, and we find out, hey, it's your hard drive, and I'm just using as an example, the computer's not under warranty anymore, and we have to come out and replace the hard drive, do labor on that, that would not be
So
covered.
it's a service call that you're being called out for.
Yeah.
Not under warranty. So
Yeah.
if all of your machines are under warranty, it wouldn't be billable.
Right.
Okay.
But yeah, you can use the help desk as much as you want, calls. And then if for whatever reason, it's like, hey, I can't figure this out and I have to, you know, plug something in. If we troubleshoot you remotely, we'll come outside and just fix it, and there's no bill.
So back to leasing then, how does leasing affect the,
So the monthly is based off of us monitoring and managing your devices, okay? The leasing bill would be something separate.
Okay,
Obviously, you get the warranty the entire time it's under lease, which is nice.
okay,
Um,
yeah,
So, yeah, we come out and fix everything, no charge.
Yeah,
You
okay.
know what I mean? And like Jolene said, unless there's a project, there wouldn't be any billables.
Okay.
So replacing a server, you guys wanna redo your entire
Wireless or
wireless,
something like
yeah.
that.
But we'd have that conversation with you prior to billing you guys, so you obviously know what it is.
Okay.
But yeah, leasing would take care of that,
Yeah, okay, all right.
right?
So we keep our emails, we don't really notice any change at all.
No.
It's
No?
seamless transition.
Mhm.
The only thing we'd have to do is upgrade our internet. We knew we'd have to do that anyways. That's gonna have to be something coming down in the future. But that doesn't affect anything how we're operating currently.
Right.
Do-
Um,
Is that something you could help us with? I mean, we have Comcast, and for some reason, we can't get more than 25 BPS.
I'm happy to talk to them with you. Yeah, we'll get on the phone, have a conversation, that seems strange.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah.
Seems very strange.
Well, we'd have to move to business class, right?
Yeah,
So we'd have to do a different service, which is gonna cost us a lot more to do. But currently, we're doing it on a budget
Yeah.
version.
I don't know what, yeah, we can review the bill with you, see what you're actually paying for,
Yeah,
and if you're not getting anywhere near that, then there's something else going on.
yeah, right.
Then we can investigate, and if you are getting what you're paying for, then it's simply just, we need to talk to Comcast and figure out what's going on.
Well, you were on that, about that too, is because what we're actually paying for, we're not getting
Yeah.
for our internet,
Okay.
which is a
The
problem.
service that we're getting is still,
Yeah, even what we're paying for is still much slower.
yeah,
Well, what we're getting is much slower.
right.
I mean, the point I don't get is, as a business, okay, we pay a little bit more, but we're not only paying more, but we get a lot less.
It seems
Yeah.
strange.
Mm.
So, something's going on. I mean, if a business should have more, logically, we're paying for more. It has to be, faster, secure, everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Just doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
if you're paying for, let's just say, 100 meg, you only get 20, then there's either something wrong with the pole, something wrong at the
Yeah.
network level, which we have to look
I
at.
think it's something wrong on the small print.
There's a small print. Maybe
They
that too,
boil
I
us
don't know.
down when we use it too much.
But yeah, we could
And
investigate
it's
that.
not the town, because I have supposedly 1 gig at home.
Yeah, we have pretty good internet.
1 gig, but so it's not
this
like
building
the
particular?
town is cursed, but yeah, something with the
Yeah,
building or
we
the
can
line.
investigate and try to figure that out for you.
We even have a fiber optic cable too, that was put in
Mm.
a decade ago or two.
But we're not hooked up to it for
I
internet.
don't think we're hooked up, yeah,
Yeah, okay, yeah, something until we can totally investigate.
okay.
So, do you have any questions, sir, since you just got in?
Well, I
You've been
met with her,
drilling
I
it.
met
know
with
you talked to him
her.
before.
I
Met
spoke
with
you
me, but
before,
he's
yeah.
our service manager, so you got any questions with service, that's, you gotta talk to.
More technical, I can help you
Or
with that.
technical,
You have
yes.
phone?
Phone?
No, that's good. I mean, we went through it with the town administrator. They came back with some sort of, price back, and I think we could, a good potential there. I don't have any questions at this time, but,
Okay.
No
everything
technical
looks.
questions?
Well, I already bombed her with technical questions. It's easy, it's just, we wanna provide our people, meaning the people who work in this building, with a good service, good computers, good software, good, that's basically what it is, and, if you can do it for cheaper, it helps the town, because right now we're counting every penny.
Yeah.
All right, good. If you have nothing else, do you have anything else for us that we should know?
Well,
I think
just
that's it.
Thank you for your time, and, hope we can do business with you guys and build a relationship.
Well, thank you very
Thank
much
you.
for your time, and very informative, and,
Yeah.
we'll definitely, we'll let you know, we're not expecting a vote tonight, right?
No.
We're just discussion.
Yep.
Yeah,
No, we wanted to meet with them. and-
Yep. So, we'll probably discuss it a little more and discuss our options, and, we'll get back to you, and
Awesome.
very impressive with what you've presented so far. And, you know, it doesn't look like we're losing anything, and if we're getting it for a cheaper price,
Mhm.
you know, I think, you know, we can make some decisions soon about this, so.
Great.
But as you can see, we've been trying to upgrade with our technology, we've been adding, you know, the owl in there and Zoom and, trying to make us more accessible and, you know, we talked about the website, how we wanna bring that out a little more and get a better website design that's more user-friendly for the employees so they can update it easier
Yep.
instead of like going through
You,
act of Congress to try to figure it out.
Yeah, sir. And also maybe we, you know, I can see very soon that we're gonna talk about, you know, our server. Everybody's going on the cloud now, so maybe you as experts can bring some input on the benefits of having a backup, you know, and all that stuff instead of just having, at some point, it's good to have a physical server on site, but sometimes it could go in the wrong direction because if there's a outrage or anything, we're gone, we can't work.
You know, we were just talking about that a little earlier, and the problem that we brought up is our internet speed
Yeah.
is the problem for being able to do work on the cloud, because we can't.
Yeah, everything
Go
is,
back and
everything
forth.
ties together.
Yeah,
So
so
it's
we have
just
to
like
fix
a,
the internet problem to be able to.
it's just like a master plan. We have to look at the big picture and try to tackle it, you know, one at a time, priorities.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you,
Anybody
guys.
Thank
have
you.
any questions for them? Ray, you good?
I think so.
Board of Health, you guys good? No questions?
Yeah, sure.
Chief, we should have a talk.
Need another one? No, you're good.
Give one to
Give
the
one to the chief.
chief back.
Sure. Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank
All
you
right,
very
thank you.
much. It was nice meeting
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Very informative.
I didn't, came that late, I came at second.
You know how these meetings go.
oh, we skipped though, we did the introduction, you missed that.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, we figured we were gonna be long for the other ones, so. But everything else should be good. Okay, moving on. Review and discuss a request from the Board of Sewer Commissioners to start new hire Christopher Elmore at step 1 of the PW2 wage scale, anticipated vote. Mr. Farrar?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the board. I have some exciting news to share. It appears as though that we have a conditional offer of employment for an operator mechanic position that has been vacant for 3 months at the wastewater treatment plant. In order to attract this candidate and to make a competitive offer based on his experience as a maintenance mechanic currently at the Amherst Housing Authority. Although the candidate is not certified yet as a wastewater treatment operator, he is well aware of the fact that the town is looking to have him pass and make significant milestones in getting that license within 6 months' time period. He's willing to do that and to take the test and to study for the test, and he's willing to start working for the town effective upon passage of this. And a significant background check and a pre-employment physical and drug screen passage.
Okay. So this is just bringing them up from the minimum
Minimum
of
to-
2283 to starting pay of 2351, which is,
Step 1.
it's a step 1, but it's only, what, 70, 68 cents?
67 cents, yeah.
So, he's got experience
As a mechanic, yeah.
as a mechanic. We need a mechanic operator,
Mhm.
but he's gonna get his
certification.
as operator too. Okay. Do you have any questions?
No, I think he looks good. Did you interview him?
Yes,
Okay.
along with Joan and Ralph,
Okay,
and they were comfortable with the appointment.
Okay.
okay, good.
Do you have anything, sir?
I really recommend the board to consider this in a good way, because we are so behind on stuff and, you know, salaries and all that. We're gonna lose a few people that come to knock the door. So I support this
Hmm.
completely, if possible at all.
Okay. I'm good.
Yeah,
Make a motion.
all right, I'll make a motion to hire Christopher Elmore at step 1 on the PW2 wage scale, to work at the wastewater treatment plant.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Hiram. Very good, thank you. Communication from Miss Paula Keefe regarding her resignation from the Board of Assessors. So Miss Paula Keefe has resigned from her position on the Board of Assessors. And we thank you for her work that she's done for the town. Wish her the best.
Any idea why she's leaving, or?
She didn't indicate it in her
Okay.
letter, no?
Because she kind of stepped in to fill an open position, right?
Right.
Okay. No, all right.
So this position would be, available for the upcoming election cycle.
Or we'll have to appoint again if no one runs, right?
Mm.
Okay. You guys have any questions about it?
No?
No, sir.
Okay. Discussion on proposed fiscal year 2025 Selectmen's budget, anticipated vote.
Mr. Chairman, unfortunately, insurance rates are not available as of yet.
You're killing me.
I'm hoping that by next meeting we'll have that.
Okay, so we'll table to next meeting. You guys good with that? We don't have the rates.
Yeah, like we have a choice.
We don't have a choice.
Okay.
So we're gonna have to table to next meeting. All right, discussion and reappoint Kathleen O'Dorn as a register for a 3-year term, anticipated vote.
For what is this?
Registrar?
Register, okay.
Election register, right?
Yep. Okay.
I'm good.
Any opposition to it? No? Okay. Any questions?
Nope. I'll make a motion to reappoint Kathleen O'Dearn as an election registrar for a 3-year term.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Very good. Warrants and bills, anticipated vote.
Make a motion to pay the following warrants. Number 49 payroll, $56,685.97. Number 50 vendor, $202,651.74.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Bills.
Weston and, make a motion to pay the following bills. Weston and Sampson, $56,638. KP Law, $1,380.58. National Grid, $1,402.07. Town of Warren Sewer, $570. Buffon Cleaning, $880. Rico, $165.32. Lowe's, $47.48. WB Mason, $225.96. Marlin Leasing, $1,107.23. Comcast Business, $20.30.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bellis, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Minutes.
I'll make a motion to accept the Selectmen's minutes from February 15th and 22nd, 2024.
Just making sure that's one of
He
the
was
ones that I
here for
was
both of
absent.
those.
Oh, no, he wasn't here for
No.
the other one.
No, he wasn't here for the 22nd.
He was here for the 15th.
He
Yeah.
wasn't here for the 22nd.
He wasn't here for the 22nd.
All right,
So
I
restate.
rescind my motion. I'll make a motion to accept the Selectmen minutes from February 15th, 2024.
I second that.
All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously.
I'll make a motion to accept the selectmen minutes from February 22nd, 2024.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Rich Hacker, aye.
David Dufresne, aye. The motion passes unanimously. Okay.
Don't you usually divide this up into two motions?
I usually do when I remember that one of you weren't here.
Oh, okay.
Okay, town administrator report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I have a few items that I'd like to report to the board this evening. Number one, I had in here this week, Energy Conservation, Inc., Chris Collins, who is the president. He is a project expediter with National Grid and with Green Communities, where he was able to bring in his team to do an assessment to look at the senior center, the Warren Senior Center, and the Shepherd Building here, looking at weatherization projects, looking at energy-saving heat pumps with potential upgrades to HVAC units at the senior center, kind of looking at a whole analysis of the buildings, of both buildings. They were here yesterday, and they're going to be putting together an analysis for us so that we can apply for our new round of Green Communities funding grant that is currently open and will be available for towns to apply for from now until May, and is what we're anticipating getting our application in now for the next round. And that's up to $200,000 that the town could get. Since we've completed our project at the Warren Community Elementary Center for the energy efficient management system that was installed. We've completed that. We've got the reimbursement for that. There was a project closeout period for that. We closed out, so now we're eligible to apply for a new grant in the spring, and we're working to moving that forward. Also this week, I had the opportunity to work with the Finance Committee. Finance Committee met on Tuesday. I attended their meeting. We started looking at and examining all of the department's budgets. The Finance Committee is in the process of compiling the budgets, looking at them, calling in departments. I suspect that they're going to be having their next meeting on next Wednesday. They're going to be having departments coming in, reviewing them. I know there was some various departments that they were going to be contacting to make sure that they had their questions answered with regards to some of their budgetary requests. That process has been moving smoothly. We obviously today we had our kickoff event for our ADA accessibility transition plan. This earlier today, I'd taken around Jim and some of his associates to the various departments in this building, opened up some of the offices for them to do their inspections. We also had a brief meeting with some of the department heads that were available this afternoon to hear some of the conversations that the board just heard this evening, so that the departments are not surprised by having somebody from the group stop by and take measurements or ask questions about the operations of their department. I've also this week we applied for our reimbursement, our first reimbursement for our EDA grant. So the EDA grant was the first bill came in this week for Weston and Sampson. We applied today for our reimbursement. The bill was paid tonight, and so we've applied for that reimbursement this week for the EDA grant as well. So that's our 80-20 split there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be also working on the quarterly report for our park grant. I'm going to be contacting Tim and Joyce, tomorrow, to submit our quarterly report for our park grant. Any updates on, projects that they've finished or milestones that they finished in this last quarter will be highlighted in the park grant report that I will file on their behalf and behalf of the town.
Very good. Anything else?
We're making significant progress on our search for a new town accountant. We have a conditional offer that has been accepted. The framework has been accepted. The person is going for and is scheduled for their pre-employment and physical and drug screening tomorrow. We're hoping to get them before the board for an executive session to finalize the contract and have a vote, within the next week or so. That's our goal. She's a very talented individual. She's coming from another community that already has experience as an assistant and is looking for the next level up. And it's fortunate that Warren is able to take advantage of that and have that experience and already have the experience from Vadar too. This person has Vadar experience, as Rich can attest to in the interviews. That's critically important.
Yeah, she's gonna be great.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about that, and I am really thinking that the board is really gonna, really like this this candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Anything else, sir?
No, that's about it.
Any questions?
No?
Any questions?
No, sir.
Nobody from the public? All right. Thank you very much, sir. All right, new business. Anybody, any new business?
No.
No, sir.
Old business?
Well, I'll just say that there is yet again water under the bridge, the underpass. I think Jeremy's just gonna wait until the weather's
Gonna
better.
wait for spring.
And then he's just gonna, I don't know, rip the whole thing up. And I don't know what he's gonna do, but it needs some work.
Yeah.
It's basically like, it's just pumping more water now, so, and they still can't figure out where it's coming from, and so, he's working on it. Just gotta bear with
Story
him.
of our lives in
Yeah.
Warren.
Bear with it a little bit
There's
longer.
lots of water everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Anything? You? Old business?
Old business? No.
Okay. Correspondence. No correspondence? I got nothing.
I got an email from Tim O'Brien. We worked the marketing piece for the Easter egg hunt for this year, so that's out for the March 30.
Yep.
Save the date
The Easter egg hunt, March 30th,
at Lucy Stone.
Lucy Stone Park. Fun event, great for the kids. My kids go to it each year, and they have a lot of fun. And again, Tim O'Brien, the Parks Department, they do a great job with it. Everybody that participates, so good event. And we have the thing on the website.
Yes.
So the
It's
flyer,
been- it's been-
the flyer.
It's been flying around.
Yep. So, all right. Anything else, sir?
No, that's it.
Comments and concerns. You have any comments and concerns?
So I'll just mention, yesterday, the CDAC, Community Development Advisory Committee met, and we had Sarah O'Brien and Chris Dunphy here working on, the first part of the meeting was the master plan. So I won't go into too much detail, but basically, we meet on the fourth Wednesday of the month, so if you wanna learn more about the master plan, tune into those meetings. We're gonna have an event to talk about some of the topics in the master plan in May.
End of May, yeah.
End of May at the senior center.
Mhm.
And CMRPC is gonna build a website and a Facebook page to keep people up to date. So stay tuned, because I'll let you know when that's all up and going, so.
Very good.
But I imagine by the next meeting, that's probably gonna be up and that'll be another way to keep him informed on it in process.
Oh. Anything else?
No,
Very good. Any comments and concerns?
It was a good meeting, I was there.
he was there.
Had to work. You have any comments, concerns?
It was a good meeting. Yeah.
I didn't go to the meeting.
No. About anything else?
No.
Okay, all right. Anybody else in the public have any comments, concerns? Mr. Conrad?
Joe Conrad, Board of Health. The federal consumer recall list was recently updated. So anybody with a computer can go online to see what's on it that might affect them. Among the things that were listed were eye drops and mouthwash, but they didn't say which brand.
Okay. All right. So, people check it out.
Excuse my breath, because I'm not using it.
Because you got recall,
I'll stay back.
your eyes will red too. You can probably put some drops in.
Can't put drops in.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Conrad. Anybody else have anything? Yes, sir.
About the meeting last night, but in mentioning the water under the bridge, is that what you?
Yeah, under the underpass?
Yeah, it's always been an issue. There's still 2 sewers that are still blocked from the construction 3 years ago on Main Street. That might help.
Okay.
Sewers blocked?
Yeah, you know how they block them when they do construction? When they did the downtown over?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't unblock them all. There's still 2, I think.
I'll look into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One by the library, I think. I forget where the other one
Are you talking about the sewer drains?
is. Yeah.
Like the storm drain.
Storm drain, yeah, sewers, whatever.
Oh, because of construction debris, and they still have the felt on them?
I think it's a whole bunch of, yeah, when they block them up so they don't get runoff,
Okay.
nobody ever unblocked them, I don't think, yeah. Because the company that was supposed to come back, there was an issue or something, some political baloney, they never came back. We owed them money or something, I don't know, anyway. I think
You
there's
don't owe
still,
anybody any money, that's for sure.
no, I think there's still 2 that are blocked, that may help ease the, because they redid all the sewers, you know, they added extra drainage when they did the downtown project.
Yeah, I have to have Jeremy
Yeah, just
check them out.
Yeah.
I have Ralph check them too if they're sewer drains.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to be unblocked.
Well,
No, I haven't walked by in a, like, been
Sewer
getting
will
lazy.
be.
It was a month ago,
be
yeah.
There, unless it's
No, I can't.
stormwater.
Stormwater.
I think it's storm.
Stormwater.
Yeah.
Sewer-
Sewer will be coming out of the
Sewage.
house and.
You're talking about stormwater drains,
Yeah, where the water runs down the street.
Yeah,
goes-
stormwater
Yeah,
drains.
yeah, it is.
and that's highway department.
All right, true, yeah. So about the meeting last night, they brought up that, an engineering company, I forget the name again. What was that name, the engineer?
Weston and Sampson.
Sampson, yeah, and I guess, are they already on contract, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah. So it was mentioned that they're gonna do a study on the mill.
Yep, there's another project for that.
Yeah, and I think it was a couple $100K maybe.
Yes.
So I'm wondering, I thought about it after, if someone's gonna buy that place for 8 or 9 million, I think 8 million, 9 million, whatever the asking price is, would that, someone with that kind of money, wouldn't they do their own research?
This
To
is
what-
for the town.
No, I understood that.
It's a grant, and the
Right.
grant opens up opportunity for us to build our infrastructure to help support the mill. We're not doing anything in the mill.
No, I
The
understand
mill,
that.
that's their own, the people that own the mill, that's their job. But we're doing infrastructure that can help support a business
In that
to go
building.
into the mill.
Right.
So right now, if they did research, they may say, oh man, these guys, this town doesn't have enough water, they don't have
Right.
enough sewer. So the study would identify those things and we could fix them so that when they do.
No, I understood all that,
research,
right, but my point is gonna be, if someone's gonna sink $9 million and buy the place, they have an idea what they're gonna do with it, right? And I'm sure with that kind of money, they're gonna spend a little bit of R&R money make sure that whatever business they're gonna go into is gonna work out at that location, right?
Mhm.
So, that grant money, couldn't we have spent that somewhere else? It almost seems like a waste.
Can't use it on anything else because it was specifically for that purpose.
For that
When-
building?
When you get grant money, you get it for a specific purpose, and you have to use it for that purpose. And what happens with this grant money is it allows us to help our residents. Okay, so if we're upgrading the sewer department to help support the mill, that upgrade helps our residents too. So, and we're getting money through grant processes by utilizing the mill as like a data source. So we're using the mill as creating jobs and opportunity in our economically deprived community.
Right.
Okay, so that's the purpose of it. Well, to help the businesses grow and get business there, we have to build up the infrastructure. By building up that infrastructure and upgrading our infrastructure in our community, it helps our residents. So later on, we don't have to ask the residents, say, we have to upgrade the sewer department. So we need to up the taxes for $1 million expense to do this, because we get a grant to help support the mill. And that helped build up, you know, our infrastructure
Yeah.
without having to cost our taxpayers money, because we're using the mill as a way, as a path for that.
So was that mill specific through that CMH thing, that program? Whatever that last night?
Well, it's,
Two different things.
yeah.
Two different things. So we could have
You're
used
talking
that.
about the master plan.
Right, but we could have used
Master
the
plan's
300,000 for something else then, right?
No.
No.
So that is, that's a master plan specifically for the, supporting the mill. And that came from a federal agency or an administration, the Economic Development Administration. So we proposed the project, but they always look for projects that would help build the economy, right? So.
Yeah, I read their website. It's pretty
Right,
good.
so that's how we got the grant, because we're trying to build our economy by supporting the mill so so businesses can be in there. So the meeting yesterday was the master plan for the town,
Right.
which is more like, where do we see Warren in 20 years? Is it gonna be sleepy farm town? Is it gonna be
Bedroom community.
bedroom community? Are we gonna add businesses? Where do we add businesses? What kind of businesses? So it's a broader look at our town and where we wanna go.
So mentioning the bedroom community, oh, by the way, the bells sound great.
Say that again, please.
The bells.
Which bells?
We only have one bell.
Oh,
You mean the bells on the old town hall?
Yes,
You hear them, they sound great.
excellent. Thank
they
you.
sound good?
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
So I want to just, real quick, 4 young people that I got to know in this town, they're already, they're in their 20s, they got to settle down. And sadly, they're gone, and I really miss them because, who wants to look at us old farts? So it's good to see the young generation. But sadly, they decided to set a new life in other towns. And I'm beginning to think that this is a trend. And for the reasons they gave, a lot of it I could agree with. And in this program, in the meeting last night, I didn't see anything being addressed concerning the younger generation. And that kind of worries me.
Well, that's where we need input.
Yeah,
We
that's
need
a great,
input residents.
it's a great comment.
Right, and what we can bring to this community, and how do we get that to come here? Because Warren is typically a drive-through town. People drive through Warren to get to Sturbridge, they drive through Warren to get to Ware, they don't really stop here. So what do we have here in Warren that helps? One of the things we used to have that drove our economy in Warren was the mill complex. That's a massive project that's not being utilized right now that has a lot of potential. We just gotta make it, you know, incentivize it a little bit for somebody to come here and do something there. Because again, like Rich was saying, when they look at that, and you were talking, companies do their research.
Yeah.
And they look at, okay, am I gonna make profit out of coming here? Or is it gonna cost me money? Am I gonna have to put money into upgrading all my sewer lines? Am I gonna put money into doing this, money into doing that? Well, when we do our project, and we look at that for a development plan, we identify, in that plan, things we need to upgrade. So that opens up other grant opportunities, because you gotta remember, a lot of these grants feed off of each other. They won't let you get another grant until you have a previous study done.
Yeah.
So when you have a plan or a study in place, then they look at that and they say, oh, you guys did this, and it identifies that need in this study to be able to help you with this. So when a grant comes up and we apply for it, we've already done all that footwork identifying that, so we can get that in here. So things like nice restaurants. Nice restaurants wanna move there into the mill complex or around the area, but they're afraid to because, well, Warren has aging infrastructure. The internet is kind of a problem in Warren. Cell phone signal's a little bit of a problem.
A lot of problems, yeah.
So we're trying to fix all those things so families move here and they don't have those things, they don't lose those things that they had in the city, but they also have that small town environment, the small town community, but we still have those nice things to have too. And that takes time, and that's why we're trying to do all this stuff, and we have so many projects going on at one time.
No, you guys are definitely doing a lot more than others, but I'm afraid that we're gonna lose too many of the younger generation, and all we're gonna end up with bedroom community with empty bedrooms, you know?
And
Well, I think, you know, the next master plan meeting or sometime in that process, that needs to come up, is how do we attract newer, younger residents, right? What-
Well, not only attract, but keep the ones,
Yeah.
these four kids I'm talking about, they grew up here, you know? They went to school in a school system that's rated top 5, I believe, right? So they get the benefits of all that good stuff, and now they left. And I don't think, you know, I think it's.
But what did they say? Why did they leave?
I can tell you, but you're not gonna like it.
No, we wanna hear it.
There's nothing here for the young kids, number one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we agree.
Okay? And, you know, in the old days, it wasn't bad. You didn't mind driving 1 or 2 towns over. But today, when you add, as you say, everything's gone up. Price of a car, gas, insurance. They don't have enough money to be running back and forth.
Right.
You know, I mean, we have nothing in town when you really think about it. You know?
Right.
And which is fine, that's a good thing. I'm
But
not
you
gonna-
gotta find a way of getting those things to move to your town too. Because
Well,
we
they-
can't build them. We gotta
Right.
entice developers to say, hey, this is gonna be a good place for you to develop and bring a project here.
Oh, I agree. This is a great place for the seniors. You know, it's quiet.
Yep.
We're all in bed by 9. You know, it's good. But for the young generation, I'll give you one.
Not if you're attending one of our meetings.
Oh, yeah, right. I know, I apologize. But let me give you another example. So another couple earlier left. I said, you know, they're looking for an apartment. I said, Warren has lower prices than other towns. And I didn't even think about it. So they did the numbers. They decided to pay more and go to Wilbraham.
Yeah.
Because if they stay here, pay a little less, but run back and forth, you know, to do business, pleasure. Kids want to go out, they want to have a good time, right? It was gonna cost them more money than, you know, if they had, and plus wear and tear on a car and maintenance. You know, these kids today, they're smart, they're good with numbers.
So some of these towns are way ahead of us. And
Yeah.
they're probably gonna be, have a lot more than we have
Right.
or will ever have. Because one of the things about Warren is Warren wants to maintain a small town community.
I understand.
People move here because they want to live in a small town. They don't want to live near they don't want to live next to a nightclub,
I understand.
you know? And sometimes kids, they want a nightclub. Well,
They do.
that would be really great,
They're young.
but it's probably better in another community. But Warren is not really that kind of community here.
Right, but so, I believe you stated once that the lion's share of the tax money goes to the schools, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay, so we're spending all this money, and education is important, and the kids deserve it. But then they leave. Does that make any sense? That's like the police department, they come here, do whatever, and they leave.
They
Everybody.
get really good training, they have an
Yeah.
awesome chief, they learn, they get trained, and then they go where they can make more money.
Answer me this, when was the last time you heard anybody say, hey, let's take a ride and go to Warren for blank? Have you ever heard that expression?
No, because we're a drive-through
There's
community.
nothing here, right?
Right. But that's what we're trying to do, we're trying to make that, we're
I
trying to change
understand that,
that.
I'm not picking on you guys.
No.
What I'm trying to say is, kids are gonna be leaving, I think, you know, because they have opportunities elsewhere, you know?
Right.
And that's sad.
It is.
You're gonna have empty bedrooms, you really are.
It is sad, wish to have younger population. We do have an aging population in Warren. And we have a majority of our population lives below the,
Yep.
the poverty level. So we don't have wealthy people in our town. But
Some.
we have some. But when you're comparing it to other communities like a Wellesley or a Wayland or, those areas, Cambridge, we don't want to be anything like Cambridge, believe me.
No.
But, those places have very wealthy people in their communities, and that's why they have all those nice things. They have their Wegmans, and they have their Starbucks, and they
Right.
have all that stuff. I'm happy with Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
I don't need
Or
Starbucks.
Dippin' Donuts,
And then, having the coffee store down the street too, they do a great job.
Well, we can't have a lot, I understand that, but I'd like to see whatever amount of money is in that 2050 plan, some of that to be distributed towards the young generation. I didn't hear any of it last night, I didn't go to any other meetings, but I think it's important that, I don't know if they have any money allocated towards.
Well,
the young-
that plan, that money goes towards the plan,
Yeah,
not towards the businesses or
Any
the people.
activities.
Okay.
It doesn't go towards any of that stuff. All it does is go towards a plan, how to get that stuff.
Plan that you
here.
guys are gonna put forward, right?
And we look at that plan, and the town looks at it, and we use that as guidance to try to get to the town. But that plan could say, you need to have a Walmart in town.
Yeah.
That's great, it could say that, but Walmart probably won't wanna move to town.
Nope.
Okay? So, having that stuff in there, people can sit there and say, I want a bowling alley. But unless we can get a developer to move in town to build a bowling alley, we're not gonna get a bowling alley.
Who's making the plan? They're gonna make the plan?
it's a collaborative.
Right.
Yeah, I thought they were gonna take advice from residents.
They do.
Yeah, so they're gonna do,
It's
we
a
have our meetings,
website, right.
they're gonna do survey. and
Okay.
then so they basically come up with, let's call it the first draft.
Yeah.
And then the town can review it and say, oh, we wanna change these things, and then,
Yeah.
there's all those 7 pieces of it, right?
Okay.
So you work on each piece and go back and forth.
So it's up to you guys, I think. Let me just give you an equation. When us old farts are gone and the kids on here, who's gonna be left? You guys,
Us.
you guys, yeah, you guys.
We'll be the new older generation.
Yeah. So you guys gotta do a little extra hard work, I think. And
So we're
focus.
trying to get the people here, and we're trying to keep our residents here, and we're trying to do what we can. But you gotta understand, you gotta be able to bring those people, the developers, to your community
I
to wanna do
understand.
those projects.
But you also have to keep the kids here, and the kids
Right.
do not wanna stay here.
But
So I only
you
gave
can't
you-
make them stay either.
Well,
You know?
no, I'm not, no, you don't tie them into the cellar, I understand. But the point I'm trying to make is, seriously, once the old generation is gone, and the kids are leaving by the grove,
Yeah.
who is gonna be left in Warren?
But,
or any other small town.
but Tim, I think we're doing a lot, not just us,
Well, you
but I
guys
mean the
are.
whole town.
You guys are.
So Lucy Stone Park has come a long way. We're thinking about a redesign of the town common, so we
Right.
could have like a farmer's market and more interesting events there. We're looking at the mills. The master plan will hopefully help us identify like what could go in the Cornerstone Bank building, right? I mean, if you put a business in there,
Right.
that could attract some people. So think about the dry cleaners that was here 20 years ago.
There was drugstores, everything, I understand.
Right, so that would pull in people from all over, because if you need a dry cleaner now for a suit, you gotta go to Munson or Palmer,
And-
right? So
and-
that would pull in people, so you put in a couple of key businesses, they don't have to be gigantic Walmarts.
Okay, let me give you,
But some key attractors, and all of a
One-
sudden, people are coming
Right.
through town and they stop and they do business and,
okay, one
Buy a coffee.
less example, and then I'm gonna shut up. So I'll use North Brookfield as an example. 3 years in a row, the town voted down a gas station.
Mhm.
They had no gas station in the whole town, right? In 3 years, the town said, no, no, no. So they finally put one up, and oh my God, you'd think it was the only gas station around for 100 miles. It's like a beehive, in and out,
Because
all
it's
day.
convenient.
Huh?
It's convenient for the residents.
Yeah, but it's
It helps.
fabulous, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. And they have some, I guess, super chicken there, I can't eat fried
It's
food,
hot.
so. Is it? Okay.
It's spicy.
And, but anyway, people love the place, right? But they didn't want it there. Okay, they put a Dollar General in up there, right? And you got Hannaford Market that does $1 million a week. Why would they need a Dollar General? They said it'll close in a month. They're both doing fantastic.
Yeah.
Hannaford's making more money now than in the history of the days the doors open.
Remember the guys who were here yesterday for the master plan?
Yeah.
They did the master plan for North Brookfield.
Okay, that's fine, but what I'm trying to say is, they're doing things that the old generation didn't want in their town.
Well,
And
you- the-
it's proven to be a benefit.
So what the problem is sometimes, is a lot of the land is privately owned land. And some of the people that are holding on this land, there's potential for really good development. It's zoned for that type of development, but they don't wanna let it go. So.
More money?
Well, whatever reason.
Okay.
It's their business, their prerogative, but that could bring great opportunities to the community. But because people own that land and they don't wanna let it go, that hurts the community.
It doesn't
too.
happen, right.
Because we have to have the land to put these things, we have to have the space to put them in. The town doesn't own a lot of real estate in the community. We own some foreclosure houses and some municipal properties, and, a few parks. We're not gonna take away our parks to put these things in, because then that would be taken away from our community, and that would go against what we're trying to do here, is make it more inviting and open. You can't build up the downtown too much, because
No.
it's already built up,
Right.
with houses and other businesses. So you gotta get developers in here with a vision, and the only way we can do that is start doing our planning, start inviting them in, build up our infrastructure, show we have an amazing police department, we have an awesome school system, our fire department's top notch. And then they start looking in like, oh, Warren's gonna be a pretty good place to start doing some business in there. Maybe I should drop a business in there and see how it does. And then they start seeding our town with these businesses, and then that's how we get things in. Just like in other communities, you see, they put in little sample stores to see how well that store is gonna do, that business is gonna do.
Right.
And if they do really well, maybe we could put another business in there now, and that will help. And it's about getting these developers to wanna do that and invest into your town. If they have other towns that are doing better and have more street traffic,
They'll go there.
road traffic,
Right.
and that's the other thing.
Right.
We have to make, I know people are against it, but we need a pike exit. We need an exit off the pike that comes to our town now, because even for the mill complex, it's very difficult to get deliveries there. They have to go through several communities to to get to the
If
complex.
they expand the railway, are we gonna get a stop here, you know?
No,
No.
you're not gonna see a stop here.
All right, anyway, I understand it's gonna take time. Good.
I'm gonna answer one of your biggest questions
Yeah.
with myself. I went away from my folks, I got a job, then I got married, then I got a kid, then my wife said, you need a bigger place. We had a 1-bedroom apartment, 400 square feet. We started looking for a 2-bedroom apartment. Okay, we found one. Then we started going out. Then we found a house for the same price of a 2-bedroom apartment in a big city. That's how I got here. So the
It's
first-
affordable. I would say same story. I was living near Boston. and
Yeah.
It
Same
was
story
way
here.
too expensive.
So that's your answer.
The value I got out here was just amazing, you know.
No one is saying that there's anything really bad in Warren. All we're saying is there's not much good in Warren. So
That's
that's.
saying the same thing, just rephrasing it.
Yeah, right. So that's why, I mean, listen, you guys, night and day from the past. I said that before.
We're looking at Warren's future, you know, that's why we're looking at public safety complex.
Yeah.
It's not just to give them something that
It's
they
for
deserve
everybody.
to work out of.
It's for everybody.
It's everybody, it helps with the services, but it also helps with potential businesses that wanna come to our community.
It's for everybody.
Because they look at the rundown old building that they chained somebody to a bench to, you know, in a room versus a real professional police department, a real professional fire department, where you walk in and you're like, wow, there's offices, it's clean, it's ADA compliant, it's accessible, you don't have asbestos falling off the ceilings, you know, you just, it looks much better.
Oh, well,
When
look at-
when a developer comes in a community, they come in and look at all that stuff. They look at your fire department, they look at your police department, they look at the highway department, how are the roads being
everything.
maintained? They look at your sewer department, okay, how many problems are they having at the sewer? You know, because they wanna be able to put their business in and not have to worry about, okay, is the town gonna be able to support that? You know, we have to be able to say, we're ready to support you, we're ready for you to move in. Move in, you know?
Okay.
We just want you to move your building in here now. And if we're ready for that, then we can get that in here, which creates jobs for our residents. It creates a tax base, because now we get more taxes, which we can invest in more nicer
Yeah.
stuff
Right.
for the town. We can have better parks, we can have better areas. You know, right now, we're relying on the residents and grants. That's why we're going after these grants, and we're going at them creatively. If we have to use the mill complex to
Okay.
get grants
Yeah,
and
that's
open
fine.
up a whole line of grants for us to fix up our town, we're gonna use the mill complex to open up that grant opportunity. So,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what we're doing. We're thinking out of the box.
No one, I don't think, is picking on you guys or saying you're not doing, I think.
Oh,
it's-
believe me, we got our critics. We
Well,
hear it.
honestly, I think people that have followed, you know, the things that go on in this room, they can obviously will say things are much better, so. All I wanna remind the 3 of you gentlemen, or the 4 of you, is keep the young generation in your back, you know, in the back of your heads or your.
So we all have kids,
Yeah, right.
and our kids are growing up in this community, and, you know, I don't want my kids to stick around. I don't want, my son is 7 years old and saying, I wanna move to a city.
Right.
It is really.
And it blows my mind, because I'm like, okay, well, let's go drive through a city and see how much you like being in a city.
My son is 17 and I asked, hey, let's move. He says, no, I'm staying here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Again, there's nothing wrong with Warren, we just need a few good things, a few more.
Absolutely.
And then, year after year, a few more and a few more.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm gonna assure you we are not going to do is sit down and wait for things to fall from the sky. We're working on it.
I know you guys
to do-
are, yeah.
To do better.
But we also don't want to lose too many more people either.
No, we don't.
I mean, because we have an investment in these kids, you know, they benefited from the top 5 ranked school and, you know. the
We're,
good-
we're always gonna lose some.
Yeah.
They're always gonna move, they're gonna move to different states, they're gonna move to
I
different
understand
cities
that.
and
I
different
understand that.
towns. But you know something? If they grew up here and they had a good family experience and they had a good,
We got our money's
good
worth.
time,
Yeah.
and they turn around and say, okay, you know something? I dealt with this city. The city's not all that to be, okay? The streets are dirty, there's a lot of
Yeah.
crime. There's, yeah, things are convenient, but do you really wanna hear cabs beeping outside your house, your apartment all day long? Then they move back to the
Yeah,
Now,
small
just-
town.
I was gonna
That's a
stop.
chance to move back.
I was gonna stop you because that's all I've ever heard from the forefathers in any small town, but especially this one. Let them go and they'll come back. That's not true anymore. Seriously. That's not.
If we
true.
get some back.
Yeah, right, but that old thinking, it's gone. It's a new generation.
Hmm.
Kids can make a life anywhere today.
Absolutely.
I'm not an expert, don't get me wrong.
No. Neither are we. We're just trying to do the
Yeah,
best
we're
we
just
can.
folks, plain old farmers.
Mr. Conrad, you had your hand up next?
All right. Well, for a fact, my oldest daughter, she had a place in Ware. She now owns a house down on Brimfield Road. And my youngest daughter is in town every single day.
Staying
Oh.
local.
This is where they grew up.
I agree, I'm not saying, you know, that it doesn't happen. I'm just saying it's gonna happen less and less, because there's so much opportunity now, you know, for these kids.
Well, Warren is one of those magnet towns. You can live here for 10 years, leave for 20, you're coming back.
Some do come back, oh yeah, I agree.
Of course, I'll tell you, as far as I know, there's a little bridge on Pulaski Street that they are gonna replace, which means they'll probably redo all of Pulaski Street, which is to the back doors of the mill,
Yep.
which is to the mill's advantage.
Mhm.
And when it comes to roads, you have never been anywhere until you've been to David's house.
Don't know where you live.
He's in the wilderness.
I live very rural.
Again, I'm gonna end with, there's nothing bad about Warren, we just need more business.
We do.
Okay.
I like that.
Ray, you had some?
Yeah, I had a number of comments, but I can't remember them all, so.
Sorry, I dragged it out.
The one I do remember is about the master plan. And I think the ideal, in theory at least, is the master plan is done by the town residents. Now, of course, it's coordinated by the board in working in conjunction with, I can't get off.
CMRPC?
CMRCP.
Right.
But ideally, the master plan is formulated because of resident input, and that's why you need to be involved as
Well,
much as you can be,
Right.
not just here tonight, but when
No, I
they have the
understand.
surveys and when they have the meetings.
I went through the whole website, I mean, it's amazing. There was so much on there, I couldn't do it all, you know, in a period of time that I looked at it.
Yeah,
But the stuff they're, talking about is great, without a doubt.
right.
So, I don't see them as a bad thing, you know.
Yeah, participation is gonna be key on this.
That's
we didn't
really
have that-
ideally how the master plan will be done well, is
Yeah.
because the residents will accurately reflect what they really are looking
Right.
for.
Well, I think we had 6 people here last night, maybe?
If it comes out bad, it's because the town put nothing into it.
Yeah.
You know,
That goes
if you got nothing in the master plan, it's because nobody put anything into it. So everybody put their input into it, whatever it is. Hey, if you want Ringling Brothers, Barnum Bailey Circus moving in on Reed Street, put it in there. It doesn't hurt, you know, but if you wanna put realistic things in there, talk about gas station or maybe, a hardware store or, you know, or whatever, or business, or what you would like to see, or a park, how you'd like to see a park more developed, or whatever. Answer the questions, go through the questions and answers, and, you know, fill them out, participate,
Yeah.
and then come to meetings. See, you're coming to a meeting, so I give you kudos for that. You know, you're doing more than what a lot of majority of people are doing. And I can tell you right now, How many 20-year-olds can you see sitting in this
Well,
room right
that's,
now?
that's what I said about last night.
How many 30-year-olds in this room right now? 40-year-olds?
Oh, sorry, 30-year-old.
Well, yeah, we got a 40-year-old in here.
We definitely need more people to come. I've said that before, the room has always been empty. But I don't know how to do it.
Well, that's why we get out social media.
Yeah, that does
We get
help.
a lot of activity on our Facebook site and through social media and Zoom. When they review the meetings on YouTube. So there's a lot of hits on
Well,
those
that's good,
things.
yeah. See, I don't do any of that stuff, so.
So you may not see a lot of people in this room,
Right.
but then you see a lot of activity on the meetings online. And that's where a lot of the younger kids are at, if
Yeah,
they're even
I agree.
interested.
I agree with that, you're right. They are there. Okay, I'm shutting up.
Thank you, Jim.
Anything else, Ray? You had, you? No?
Not this time.
All right. So anybody else have any more comments and concerns?
Yeah. Get a pizza this weekend, support our local.
Yes. Buy a pizza this weekend, support local businesses.
That's excellent.
Or a grinder, or a salad.
Mhm.
Both.
George's has really good fish and chips. I've been doing their fish and chips.
Fish and chips and pizza.
Oh, good stuff.
Massapeel Pizza.
Yep, Massapeel got good
Right.
pizza.
Yeah.
Good wings.
English market does too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the markets, yeah.
Yeah.
Just go and get something. Support our local
Yeah,
businesses.
local business.
Go to Mason's.
And that's another thing. All you people that sit there and complain about how we don't have nice stuff in town, stop going out of town to buy food. Buy it in our town. We get good pizza places here, we got nice stores. You know, Village Market does a really good job, they prepare meals. Buy from them. That's how they stay here. So. All right. No comments or concerns
Nothing wrong.
online?
No.
I think they're all sleeping.
Could be.
It's almost 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Bedtime for the community.
Yeah.
All right, so moving on. Next meeting is Thursday, March 7th, 2024 at 5 PM. It is an executive session. And then after that, at 6 PM, we will have our regular Board of Selectmen meeting. So next meetings are March 7th at 5 for executive session and 6 PM for regular meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
All in favor?
Richi Hacker, aye.
Derek Bailey's aye.
David Dufresne, aye. We are adjourned.